Now want to tap out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where they at, though? Welcome to another edition of Outlaw Radio on a Wednesday night, Hump Day edition, the second installment of the week. Welcome to the show. I am Kevin Barnes, also known in some circles as the Negro Whisperer, certified professional life coach, Negro Whisperer. I am not alone, as you can tell. I plan to have a great time tonight, and I hope you want to participate in it. And if you decide to do so, the phone number attached is 262-202-5131. It's actually scrolling across the bottom of the screen along with the Cash App, just in case you're feeling generous. But it's 262-202-5131. I'm not alone. I got my partner here with me, close to this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The witch doctor. What it do, homie?
Peace, family. How y'all doing out here? Welcome to Outlaw Radio. When we talk that talk, and we definitely walk that motherfucking walk, raising vibrations and elevating motherfucking thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. I'm y'all holistic health and wellness coach, Kamar Carter. Peace to the family. I'm also one who brings you nature and herbs and supplements and vitality and the House of Vitality, y'all. Soft opening, August 5th. That's Saturday. Come on, y'all. Come on down. Come holler at me. You know what I mean? The whole team going to be down there, man. Y'all come on. We're going to have some fun. I'm telling you, I don't even know what else to say. Let's get on with the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Support black business. I keep saying, what are you doing if you ain't supporting black businesses? What are you doing? Ask yourself. I am very, very honored, to have this brother here with us tonight. He is a guest, but it's almost like he's not, right? Like, so he's been here many times. Very esteemed brother. My brother, tell these people who you are, man.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Robert Miranda, and I'm spokesperson for the Freshwater for Life Action Coalition, which is the group that has been working over the last few years on this whole matter of the lead and water, lead pipes, and the removal of these toxic pipes from the water systems that is poisoning our community.
Okay. So this topic of the lead pipe laterals, and I was questioned about this. Somebody was, and shout out to ENC Jordan, who's actually in the chat room. The chat room is already popping. He says, I turned off Outcast. Y'all know I love y'all. It depends on which one you was listening to. I wouldn't have turned off Southern Playalistic, but that's just me. Shout out to Paris LaShawn out in Denver. He said, peace, outlaws and guests from the Mile High Income City, Frontline Black News, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Yes, he said, I missed a great show last night. Yeah, we had a crazy show. And then last night I needed rest. I'm an old man. Sometimes I just nap. Fonzarelli, what it do, man? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
We are excellent, man.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, sir, man. We got my brother Robert Miranda on the show. So I wanted to say, like, people are not familiar with what he's done. And years ago we found out, I would say, what Robert, now correct me if I'm wrong, probably about 7-8 years ago, we discovered that certain areas had these lead pipe laterals that were basically constructed a long time ago, early in our urban development, and that the pipes, that these laterals were releasing lead particles into the water. And lead poisoning is something that people don't understand has the cognitive effects. So you get impulse control, you get people who are violent, you get people who don't make the best decisions, right?
Right.
And Coinky Dinkley, and I just made that up, Coinky Dinkley, rest in peace, Pee Wee Herman. The city of Milwaukee's, our citizens demonstrate these behaviors. So you establish Freshwater for Life action, how you say it, coalition?
Yep.
Coalition, right? Like people put a Z in something. And you have been fighting. I do want to say this. Rest in peace to my brother Chris Johnson.
Yes.
And this is the first summer that I haven't had in a long time that I haven't had Chris calling me constantly giving me the lowdown on downtown. So I missed that brother, and I want to say rest in peace to him. But you and I actually met through him,
Right.
and so I miss Chris because Chris was a champion of this also.
Yep.
So let's talk about because we had heard that there would be federal funding allocated for this. Some of the COVID money was going to be spent for it. Where's the replacement of the lateral pipe lead lateral pipe laterals the lead pipe laterals? Say that shit 5 times fast. What's the state of replacing them now? The lateral pipe laterals.
El tubo plomo.
Right.
The whole case here in Milwaukee is a very historically polluted case. It has been historically in Milwaukee has been a world leader in hiding the facts and hiding the issues related to lead water and the poisoning of our community through these lead pipes. Now, that's not something that I just said. That was actually stated by a professor from Virginia Tech University, who was the professor who was able to research and do the study that exposed what was going on in Flint. His name is Dr. Mark Edwards. He came to Milwaukee back in September of 2016, and he had a big old PowerPoint there where the mayor of Milwaukee was there, the president of Marquette University was there, all about 600 of Milwaukee's highest esteemed citizens were in that conference when this man put that PowerPoint up there and said, Milwaukee historically has been a world leader lying about what's going on with our waters and these lead pipes.
Okay.
And so I want to make that point that we have, with a local government that has historically been lying to its citizens about the safety of our water as it relates. When he did that, we were already organizing and forming the FLAC, the Freshwater for Life Action Coalition. And we were exposing all of what was going on in relations to the hiding of information since the end of 2015 to the present. And through our efforts, we were able to expose that the lead program that the city was touting was a national model and one of the best in the country was actually a farce, and the health department fell apart when we exposed that was high. We had numerous high-level bureaucrats leaving, retiring, resigning when we started exposing what was going on back in 2016, 2017. Ultimately, after a couple of years of constantly fighting, Lord and behold, Biden gives Mayor Barrett this plush job so he can go to Luxembourg and have Wiener schnitzels.
Right, cheese and wine.
Yeah, and get the hell out of Dodge because it was getting hot. But the situation is still hot even today because as we continue to fight this campaign, Milwaukee still is in denial about how lead is poisoning our community. And you hit it right on the health effects. A lot of the health effects that we cite comes from a professor, Bruce Lamphere, who is out of Simon Fraser University in Canada, and he's world renowned of how lead affects the body.
Okay.
And he talks about how it affects the children, but his studies has also come out showing how lead is affecting adults. And adults are being affected by lead poisoning, as he showed in a study that he released 2 years ago through the coronary process. Lead is affecting your heart. Lead is affecting your liver. Lead is affecting your bones. Lead is affecting your memory. Lead is affecting your reproductive system. It's a very, very toxic, dangerous element that the city of Milwaukee for decades has taken for granted, that the people being ignorant of it are going to continue to be ignorant of it, and they're not going to warn the people until we started pushing this issue.
Okay. And I've had the pleasure, like I said, Chris was my man, 50 grand. He shared a lot of the research with me. So I've seen those reports. I don't know. Your screen is going in and out too, Robert. It'll go in and it comes in and then it'll click out and come back in. It looked like you punching out and punching in. Shout out to ENC Jordan, man. Ian, I appreciate the support, man, that you push. You push the show, man, and I'm glad you are rocking with us. He says thank you for your work, Robert. He said he was listening to AT Aliens. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I can come off of that. Southern Playalistic was that one, though. We talking about the cast. I see you walk out in AZ. Let me see. I got to catch my chat room up, Robert. Give me a second.
All right.
Shout out to Monica Benton. How you doing? She said birth defects. Yes, it is. Hey, we got this infant mortality rate that's on par with third world countries. See, people don't pay attention to the issue behind the issues. How you doing, Dion? He said, "What up, guys?" Yeah, he's taking it smooth. The name of the show is MI Aliens, and I tried to do a show months ago when we first started talking about these aliens, and I spelled it differently, and I thought people would get it. MI Aliens, like the Outkast album, AT Aliens. Nobody got it though. So now I want, because we're going to talk about the aliens tonight. Yes, we are. We're going to talk about the BET, the Black Extraterrestrial. Nobody's even thinking about that. We got to talk about that. George Clinton told you a long time ago, man, the mothership connection.
That's
we'll get
right.
into that as we go along, but I want to really talk about this water because, like I said, somebody asked me, and it was on Ian's post where he said, well, have they addressed the water? And I'm like, dude, come on, man. We rock with Robert Miranda and Flack, man. What you talking about? It's Outlaw Radio. So I said, you know what? Let's get Robert back on for him, for the haters. How you doing, Erica Hunt? Paris said that's horrible. Sounds like Governor Rich Snyder in Michigan. The Flint water crisis, lead pipes across Lake Michigan. Mama Jenkins, how you doing tonight? She said, good, family. You have my good brother, Big Robert M. on tonight. We've been fighting injustices in this city for a long time. A true warrior. That's very true. That's very true, Mama Jenkins, because I wanted to talk about that with Robert too, because Robert has put in, he's being very humble. He's put in a lot of work, because people might say, well, who the hell is you? So we're going to tell the people who he is. Thank you for pushing and fighting for this issue. How you doing, Shaquila? What's going on? Y'all share the show. Share the show. Share the show. Share the show. Look, y'all rocked us out Monday. I'm telling you. The love was definitely appreciated. Them numbers was good and juicy. They remind me of the old Outlaw Radio numbers, Kamar. You know, we used to come on this thing and have 2 G's on. I don't know what happened. They stopped buying our record. Dion said we acting civilized tonight. We're gonna do our best. When we start talking, you know, when we get in that shit, you know, it might go crazy.
Stay tuned.
Don't just if you like the show and you like when it's hot, appreciate these kind more when there's actual information. This brother's quoting world-renowned professors who have done extensive research on this. So soak that up too, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool when it get hot, but it's also when it's time to feed the people, man. We can see. Dion said, I'm ready to act a fool. You can't take my Outlaw family nowhere, man. You can't take them nowhere.
I got to City Hall. You got to go to City Hall with me. That's where we got to act a fool.
Yeah, Dion, you got to pull up at the City Hall. Dion would go down there and be like, man, tear this motherfucker up. No, shout out to Dion. But it's okay, Robert. You've been very active on the South Side for a long time in terms of your community. And see, one of the things that's great too is a lot of people think that black and brown, because there's really supposedly an issue. And there may be in some spaces, but we don't know a lot about what's going on across the bridge a lot of times. So talk about your background, because you did some stuff in the neighborhood that got it popping over there. Let's go back a little bit.
I first got on the scene when I started turning the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee upside down. I was elected the president of the student body over there. And during that time, I had forced the resignation of the chancellor, the provost, and about 4 other professors, exposing them for mismanaging and using what they called at that time 402 funds to support the antics and escapades of some of their leading professors, instead of spending that money on the programs that support students of color at the university. And so we were able to dig up a lot of that information and put it out there. We also exposed the fact that they were funding a phantom, what they called Hispanic Studies program. There was no such thing, but they were funding monies to some various different high esteemed professors at the campus, so that they could pursue their professional careers. And we exposed that. And then we created, with the support of the Black Student Union, the work we did was to get the Africology department to move into a PhD level program. We've done many different things at the university. And then from there, I went into the community. And my first action in the community was to organize with some of my colleagues and brothers in the North Side what we called at that time the 10,000 People March, where we rallied at Pierre Marquette Park on the conditions of our community. And about 6,000 to 7,000 of us marched on the City Hall. And at that time, we took over Mayor Norquist's office, turned that office upside down, let them know we'll be back if things don't get better. We've had a number of other campaigns, but the biggest one and the most satisfying one is the one I'm doing right now. This thing with lead and water has not only given me the work that I need to do to change the situation here in Milwaukee, but it also has given me access to a lot of national networks and a lot of cities that are dealing with the same issue. And the brothers from Denver, the people in Denver are also dealing with this issue. Actually, Denver is doing much better in their campaign than we are here in Milwaukee.
Paris LaShawn is actually Shay and Kruma. Is actually in the chat room. He's in Denver.
Yep.
He just ran for mayor of Denver. So big up to him. Yeah, he's a supporter of Outlaw Radio. We rock with Shay.
Excellent.
He's always with us. So he's in the chat room. So he says in the chat room, ironically, he says it sounds like the work I'm doing in Denver, and it's like it happened at the same time. So I'm like, somebody ain't lying. Okay. Mama Jenkins says most of the listeners will learn tonight. We are known at the City Hall. We did a lot of groundwork together. We've had many police protests, and we even did shit at the DA office. Okay. Shout out to Mama Jenkins, man.
Yeah. Good. She knows.
Yeah.
She knows. But so we're dealing with this issue, and specifically tonight we're going to talk about Milwaukee. But right now we're at a point where we're getting all these fundings and all these federal funds are coming in, and now everybody out there, instead of dealing with the issue of removing this toxin from the community, everybody's more interested in going after the money. Everybody's like, hey, we gotta get these grants, or everybody's focused on grants. And our organization has never been about that. We've always been about focusing the public's attention on removing this toxin from our community. Right. And as in the earlier before, these pipes, the lateral that connects from the water main to the inside of the house, that's the lateral. That's the one that's made of lead. The water mains aren't made of lead. However, their connectors have been lead soldered and stuff. But the lead laterals are all made of lead. And there are currently about 66,000 homes that have these laterals connected to them. But that's not just talking about lead pipes that are in the houses, the pipes that connect to the taps of the houses. A lot of the premises plumbing is also made lead in some of these older homes. But on the lead laterals, which we're specifically talking about because the federal government is giving money to remove those lead pipes have been underground in Milwaukee since the 1870s. And they first laid them in around 1872. And they were mandated at the time. Now, get this. They were mandated by the city of Milwaukee at the time. And by law, the people were told they had to go ahead and use lead pipes to connect to the city water main to bring water to their home. So this whole idea that we today have to pay for what they call the private side of the lead pipe is a bunch of bullshit. That's not that is a stone cold stone bold bullshit lie. That pipe was put in the 1870s. These pipes have been underground for over 130, 140 years, and they have been poisoning our community now for all that time. And basically, what we need to do is, as they're moving their agenda, which we're doing right now, and I sent you a paperwork to show our demands. One of the demands that we're calling for from the city is that property owners, homeowners, people on fixed income, people who have these pipes, do not pay for the removal of those lead laterals. Those, because of the fact that the city mandated these toxic pipes. Now, as I said, those pipes have been underground for over 130, 140 years. Science dictates that these pipes have to be removed every 60 to 70 years. Every 60 or 70 years, these pipes have to be removed. These pipes have been underground for over 130, 140 years, and the corrosion and the particles and the toxicity of those pipes are twofold. They are really, really releasing nanoparticles and smaller particles that people can't see, because lead you can't see, you can't taste, you can't smell. So when the water comes out through the tap, the water looks fresh, the water looks clean, it smells good, tastes good, but the bottom line is those particles are the most toxic that you could put into your body. And there's two forms of poison. There's two forms of poisoning. There's what they call soluble lead, and then there's called the particulate matter lead. And the soluble lead is the lead that is like sugar, mixes in with the water. That's the kind of stuff that they say when they say flush, you flush that out. But when you flush, what happens is the loose particles that are in the pipe, they start flaking off. And so if you're flushing and you flush for a long time, what happens is these tiny little particles start going into your water, and they start falling into your glass, and they start falling into your cooking water. And speaking of flushing is another big lie they tell you out there. The city is out there telling you, flush your water. Flushing is an unreliable way of preventing lead exposure. Now, I understand the words I'm using here. Preventing. When they tell you to flush, they tell you flush your water to reduce exposure. Don't nobody want to reduce exposure. We want to prevent exposure. Lead at any level is not.
Let me ask you this. The city side was that this was more about lead paint. And so there was this huge lawsuit that I believe is DuPont. There's litigation that there was a big lawsuit, and people said that Baird wanted part of this money. He wanted Milwaukee to be a recipient. So part of the reason why there was kind of like a brushing of the issue is that they wanted to get in on this lawsuit. So where's this lawsuit at now? Is this still hung up in litigation or what?
The lawsuit was denied, and then they appealed it. Now, where it is on appeal, it's unknown at this moment.
Okay.
We're supposed to appeal this, but right now, apparently, whoever the lawyers are, I know who the lawyers are, but apparently these lawyers don't feel confident, it looks like, to move this on appeal, because now more of the truth about what's going on with lead poisoning in Milwaukee is coming out. And one of the key ingredients to that lawsuit was that they were saying lead, paint, soil, and dust were the major contributors. But that was a false argument. And the reason why it was a false argument is because the city never collected data on lead and water. And so there was no data there that would show if, in fact, lead and water was also playing a major role in the poisoning of the city. All they relied on was the fact that they had data that showed lead, paint, soil, and dust is poisoning the city, but they didn't start collecting data on lead and water until we got involved, and then they started collecting data around November of 2017.
Okay. Okay.
And so
Mama
this
Jenkins,
that
Mama Jenkins in the chat room, she said Robert is a journalist and don't take no shit for an answer. Milwaukee will get new pipes. Yeah. This is one of many issues that Milwaukee has, but I still would like to know what happened, because I know for sure I read somewhere, I should say, that there was some COVID money. Was it the American Recovery Act or whatnot? And so much money was allocated. And that's why when they start saying we're on this fiscal cliff, I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't we just get hundreds of millions of dollars from COVID relief? So where's that money that was supposed to be allocated to at least starting the replacement of these lead pipe laterals?
There once again, this is all bullshit being put out there by the city, supported by community partners that the city has been able to put on a pedestal and have them parrot what the city is in order to confuse and try to get the people to relax and not be suspicious of our government. The bottom line, there was infrastructure money that was passed in November of 2021. There was the American Rescue Plan monies that were passed. There were all kinds of state and local federal funds that are going in towards this effort. Now, if other cities around the country, Denver being one of them, Detroit, Newark, New Jersey, all these other cities have been using those funds to remove thousands upon thousands of pipes. For example, Newark, New Jersey removed almost 22,000 pipes in just a little under 2 years. 2 years. They removed about 22,000 pipes. They still have about 30 to 40,000 pipes to go. Detroit. Now, don't tell me about financial crisis in Milwaukee. Detroit had the same kind of actually, Detroit filed bankruptcy.
Right.
But Detroit just 2 months ago said they're going to be removing 5,000 pipes a year. This year, starting 5,000, and then next year they're going to start removing 10,000. So why did Milwaukee come out and say at first we're going to remove 1,500, and then they stopped that because we came up, you're going to remove more than that, and now the mayor is talking about 3,300, which once again is lowballing and lying. If they're saying they don't have the money, then how the hell these other cities like Detroit, Newark, Denver, Jackson, Mississippi, all these other places are able to remove these pipes, larger numbers of removal than Milwaukee? And
now Madison done this years ago, correct?
Right. Madison removed their pipes. They actually finished doing theirs around 2014 was the last one that they removed.
Okay.
But, you know, this talk about us not having money, I've sat with the people at City Hall, and I'm still sitting with them now. And one of the areas that I told them, well, if you're complaining about not having enough money, why haven't you signed on to the accelerator program that the Biden administration just announced for people to get involved in, for cities to get involved in, to help them remove these pipes? And the feedback we got was, well, the accelerator program doesn't give you money for pipes. Well, I couldn't believe that. So I went to the secretary of DNR, Department of Natural Resources, who controls all that here for the state of Wisconsin. And I spoke to Secretary Payne and his Deputy Secretary Little of the DNR. And they said right in front of me and Senator Taylor, yeah, there is money there to remove pipes. So they basically bold-faced lying to the community that at the accelerator program, there's no money when there, in fact, there is. Why is it that these people at City Hall are taking this issue with the kind of disregard and indifference and wicked callous and non-care and showing Milwaukee's ass in front of the world while the rest of the cities around the country are doing much better and much more work and faster removal than Milwaukee? And the only thing I could think of is that these people at City Hall don't give a rat's ass about our people.
Okay. Now, my next question would be, are there any suburban areas that are affected by this as well? Because I like the hot spots are, where are the hot spots for this at?
Correct. And so Wisconsin as a whole has about 150 to 160,000 lead pipes throughout the state. And yes, suburbs of Wisconsin, suburbs of Milwaukee have lead pipe issues. There were lead pipes in Racine, there are lead pipes in Kenosha, there are lead pipes in West Allis. They're all over the place. All right. Not in the numbers of Milwaukee, but they are there and they're being dealt with. For example, Green Bay, Wisconsin, they had about 2,200 pipes. They got them all up fast. They got them all up, and the public didn't have to pay for it. The homeowner didn't have to pay for it. It was the public taxpayers who paid for the removal because, like they know, it was a government operation. It was a government mandate to lay these pipes connecting to the water system of the municipality to the home. And that is the bottom line. That is the bottom line. Asking us to pay for removal of so-called imaginary private side is bullshit.
Don't you think though, and I want to get back to, because I want to know where the areas of the city, the worst off areas of the city are. Because I know I was working through Employ Milwaukee, and I was in North Divisions. I was stationed in North Divisions building part-time with an office, and you couldn't drink out of the water fountains. You know, the bubblers were taped off, and they were saying MPS, a lot of MPS schools were in areas that are heavily affected by the lead pipe lateral. So where are the hot? Ernest said, don't use the word hotspot. Where are the hot spots at? Where are the worst off areas of the city?
Now, to be one thing to understand is Milwaukee Public Schools as a whole did not have issues with laterals. Milwaukee Public Schools as a whole had issues with premises plumbing. Most of the plumbing in the building had lead pipes.
Okay.
For some reason, and I think it's because the building was bigger and they had to make the pipes bigger. So at the time, they were making the pipes as big as some of the mains. The lateral that connects from the house to the main is only about 1.5 inches, maybe at the most 2-inch diameter, where some of those other pipes at the schools are about 4 inches in diameter.
Okay.
And most of those pipes are not made of lead in the schools. But where North Division, for example, was having issue was because the premises plumbing, the pipes that were in the building that were bringing in the water from the lateral were made of pipes in the school. And so the premises plumbing was being dealt with by Milwaukee Public Schools, and they were also putting in filters. So as far as I understand, stuff like that is still going on in the public schools. Now, the heaviest issue for the community, for the people in the north side and the south side. Most of those pipes that connect from the main to the house from the laterals are located in zip codes 53206, 53204, 53215, and Stamper, Khalif Rainey, all those other districts. And there's a lot of pipes there that are over 120 years old that need to be removed immediately. Now, the current plan that the city is working on right now says they want to do an equity, they want to service under privileged areas that have been historically not served. And that's fine, I commend that. But we need to pick up the numbers from the current 3,300 and replicate what other cities, especially like Detroit, is doing, and do at least 5 this year or more, and get to a point where we could do 10, because we don't want to wait 20 years and condemn another generation to this toxic poisoning. The president of the United States said when he released all that money, he promised America, he said to the United States, we are going to remove these pipes in 10 years. Why is it that the Milwaukee mayor is saying 20 years, which is better than what he first started out saying, which would take us 60 to 70 years?
But at first he said, get you a water filter, you'll be straight.
Right. Well, that was Barrett, right?
Right. At first, Barrett was like, just get a water filter. And
Right.
then a couple years later, when the issue came back up, he was like, what? I didn't know we had this. I'm like, bro, you just told us to get water filters. It's just the stupid gang, man. Stupid game.
It is a real stupid game, and it's basically rooted in what you brought up, and that was that the lead paint lawsuit was a major contributor to the city not being honest about what was going on with our water. Because again, right, they did not have the data. They couldn't show, and to this day, their data is still insufficient. They can't, they'll tell you, oh, well, our primary cause is lead paint, soil, and dust, and it falls in line with national trend. Well, okay, it may fall in line with what you say national trend. National trends may show that, but the city of Milwaukee is not a national trend. It has its own data. Where is the data of the city of Milwaukee, and where is the data of water that we're following national trend? And they don't have that data because there isn't enough data for them to make that determination.
Hey, I want to apologize too because it's kind of wonky. It keeps going out. I don't know if you on Wi-Fi. A lot of times, if you're not connected to a Wi-Fi signal, especially if you're using a phone, the signal won't be as strong. So I apologize to anybody who's like, "What'd he say?" If you just tuning in, this is Outlaw Radio, MI Aliens on a Wednesday night. We got Fonzarelli, we got the Witch Doctor, we got my brother Robert Miranda. Shout out to the Juice Lady. Shout out to you all. We are having this conversation about the lead poisoning and the lead pipe laterals. And if you say, well, why is this relevant? I have to reiterate that this has severe cognitive effects, and especially on young people. And so literally for years, we've kept saying, it's something in the water. It's something in the water. And it is. If there's a heightened kind of sense of violence, aggressiveness with our young people now. We are in this plague right now where the teens being shot, over and over again. Day by day, you see more teens getting shot. Young 7-year-olds, 9-year-olds. These kids are a lot more impulsive. They act out more. You are absolutely right in the chat room, Monica. She said increased numbers of autism. Right. And now there's controversy saying, well, this is something that the baby food is accused of this. And we've talked about the vaccinations. We've had, people activists from who are lobbyists in Madison. We've had people in talking about the dangers and the harms of some of these mandatory vaccinations. And this was pre-COVID jug, right? This is how Outlaw Radio been getting down for a very long time. So it's a very informative show. Y'all be patient. The bullshit's coming. I know you want to hear the bullshit. But we gotta you don't get recess unless you go to class first, right? That's where we gotta put it. So We got Robert Miranda here, who is representing Fresh Life Action, Freshwater Life Action Coalition. I can't talk for shit tonight. He represents them, and amongst and Robert, over the last 7 years, I can say I've saw, and just like I said, because Chris and I were very cool, you all have been in the trenches fighting this, right? Like seriously deep, like, and people kind of forget when Bevan Baker fell on the sword, and there was just dysfunction in with the health department and this kind of thing with the water, man. So I don't want people to forget about this. Now, I want to know, how can people support your cause? Like, do you have a website, or do you have what's your socials?
We have a website called Get the Let Out Coalition, which is a broader coalition of organizations that we are, and it's called Get the Let Out Coalition. We have a website. All the data, all the information is there. Anytime you want to reach out to me, you can reach me through that website. If you have Facebook and you want to friend me, look it up. I'll be there. Get on my I'll accept you, and you'll be reading all the updates that I post all the time on Facebook. We are always asking people to call their alderman and call them and tell them we need to remove these pipes faster. 3,300 pipes a year is not enough. We want to replicate what they're doing in Detroit, if not better. And tell them, we've had enough. We had enough of this, because it's exactly right what you said. I always tell people, I always say, back in the day when we had that whole thing with cryptosporidium, and they were telling us, boil your water. They never warned us. They never warned us that if you boiled your water, there was going to be lead in that water. And when you boil your water with lead, the lead becomes even more toxic and much more dangerous. So all those children drinking that water then, they're adults today. And so when you look at that year trend and you see from that period, you'll see how the crime rates have been rising. Because at that time, when we were drinking boiled water, we were drinking water whose lead was even more toxic.
Okay.
And so the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee also released a study about 2-3 years ago that showed the link between gun violence and lead.
There we go. Yeah.
They know that this is contributing to not only the crime rates in Milwaukee, but also to the school situation in Milwaukee. They know it's contributing, but because it's Black children mostly being affected, they don't give a rat's ass.
So let me and so we're talking about, we don't really think about our normal, how much water you actually take in, and we bathe, and you cook with water, and so people could say, well, it's not enough, it's in such minute amounts that it's not enough to really cause the problems that these kids have, as that the kid's only 8 years old. It would take way longer for him to get real, like, lead poisoning. So what do you say to that?
That again is ignorance.
Okay.
That again is ignorance and people who are not well researched and studied. Because even right now, the action level that the federal EPA says that needs to happen is if there is what they call 15 parts per billion of lead in the water, action must happen immediately. Anything else needs to be dealt with. But my point here is, even if there's 1 or 2 parts per billion of lead in the water, it's still no level of lead is safe. That's
Okay.
EPA, CDC, Department of Wisconsin. And even if there's a little minute level of lead in the water, you have to think about it in regards to accumulation. So every day you're drinking that small level of lead in your water, you got to remember, lead does not leave the body. Lead goes into your bones and it goes into hard tissue, soft tissue, and it builds up. So if you're drinking just a little bit of lead, it's not like you're drinking it and then it's secreting it out. No, your lead is going to find its buddies that's already housed itself in your body and linking up so that it could continue to grow.
Okay.
Lead is not only a very toxic element, but a very cunning, wicked element that's going into your body. And so, people who are saying, well, I've been drinking this water all my life and ain't nothing wrong with me. Bullshit. You ain't never blood tested either for lead, have you?
I don't know how anybody in Milwaukee could say ain't nothing wrong with them. I think it's something wrong with all of us anyway. I don't know what that's about. Monica Benton says most filters sold in stores can't filter iron particles, and they're not affordable for residents living in Milwaukee hotspots.
There are filters that are affordable, but you have to know the model number that you have to get. And the number of filter that you have to get is NSF 53.
NSF 53.
That is the filter specifically designed to remove metal from the water, especially lead. Look that up. Find out which store carries that. They're affordable. And I always tell people, you don't have to put them on the sink. You don't have to put them at the point of entry. Just get a picture with a filter that has NSF 53 filter, and you'll be all right.
But now that doesn't help you when you got to bathe, though, right?
Well, there are debates on that. The science on that isn't specific. However, if you're going to bathe and you're done with your bathing in about 5-10 minutes, you're not going to have a problem. Now, if you're soaking in the water for 8 hours or 10 hours, well, yeah, I would think you're going to have a problem because you're going to get all pruned up and the water is going to get in through your skin.
Right.
And so bathing and stuff, I mean, as long as you're showering and you don't spend hours in the water, you should be fine. But if you're going to stay in the water for a long time that is lead infested, well, yeah, you're going to have.
And I want people to understand this too. We are not telling you not to wash your ass.
Yeah,
we're not endorsing you not taking a bath. He said soaking 8 to 10 hours.
Please. So and if you got a bidet, use that too.
Right. Don't be you stink. Man, I'm trying to avoid this lead. Nah, man, that ain't what Robert said. Now let me ask you a question too, and I don't know how far you all are if you're planning to extend to this, but these forever chemicals that they said they found in our waters here too as well.
Right.
And so I don't know if people have paid attention to that. Can you inform the people on what the forever chemicals are?
Those are basically chemicals that are seeping into the water that are chemicals man-made.
Okay.
For example, little tiny pieces, particles of plastics, things like that. Again, filtering that is basically going to get rid of it. You got to use. I tell people, even if the water is clean and you're getting clean, pristine water through your pipes, use filter. Just get the filter. But those houses that have pipes that are made of lead, we're calling on the city to issue filters for free and mandatory to those homes that people are paying for those filters. They should be getting those filters provided to them from the city until this mess is cleaned up.
Okay. And so I like I said, man, I just wanted to make sure people are up on the fact that we have a leadership right now that kind of plays. Liz Brown used to always say they playing in our face. And so I look at what they're really addressing, and I look at where their efforts are and what their priorities are. And once again, the water thing is kind of falling to the bottom of the list because it's not as hot a topic as Kia Boys or reckless driving or gun crimes and stuff like that.
And the reason for that is because the city has been able to partner with a community group that is going to buffer for the city, is going to cover for the city. You know, when we started, we began the campaign not to be a partner of the city, not to be a friend of the city, but to make the city do the right thing. Well, since then, the city has been able to partner and put on a pedestal an organization called Coalition on Lead Emergency. And this group has been basically puppeting and parroting a lot of what the city is saying and mandating and talking about. And so we've been basically saying this organization is working in the interest of obtaining grants and looking for money rather than doing what needs to be done, and that is pushing the money to remove these pipes and clean up the system.
Okay. So we got a couple questions for you in the chat room. Mama Jenkins said, I'm a woman and I like to sit my big ass in the tub. Well, as long as you don't sit in there for 10 hours, right? It's just like you might have other issues if you're in there 10 hours, right? Paris says, so does my lady. Monica wants to know, where can you find out if it's lead pipes in their neighborhood?
The best way to find out if your house has a lead lateral or lead pipe, go to the Milwaukee Waterworks website. And when you go to the Milwaukee Waterworks website, they'll have an icon there that talks about lead and water lead pipes. Then you click that icon, and when you click onto the icon, then they have a place where it says north side, south side, west side, east side. Click on where your house is, and all the addresses of the houses that have lead pipes show up there. Look for your address, and you'll see if you have it or not.
Okay. Juice Lady in the building. What's going on, Courtney?
Hootie hoo.
She said hootie hoo. Outcast style, right? Monica says her home is in Glendale, Robert.
Yep. Glendale, again, go to the Glendale Water Municipality or the municipality page and check out to see if their page shows the address. Most houses that are newer than Milwaukee's will not have lead pipes. As a matter of fact, they stopped installing lead pipes back in 1962.
Okay.
1962, they knew that this was a matter of an urgency, and then in 1986, the United States government banned lead pipes altogether.
Okay.
1962, they stopped. So houses in Glendale normally would not have, but if you want to make sure, go to your municipality webpage, look up your water utilities page, and then see if they have.
I think Glendale's safe because Glendale is really a product of white flight. So if you look at open housing wasn't passed until 68. So most of them cribs was built after 68.
Yeah.
When white people said we are out of here. Juice Lady, what's up with you tonight?
Nothing much. I'm late and I got work I'm doing, so it's like I'm trying to do work but also be present. So don't be calling me out like that, man. I'm trying to multitask.
Actually, I didn't even call you out tonight. I was saying, what's happening with you? Like, welcome to the show.
Like when you in the back of the class and you really reading the comic book and they're like, yeah, so what do you think about the book? Like, huh? So like, what you mean?
Right. Well, welcome to the show. We hope you can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Kind of hard.
Mama Jenkins is in the chat room. She said, Robert, I thought send it to Senator Gwen Moore was in on this fight. She said, was Senator Gwen Moore in on the fight with it?
Senator Gwen Moore has been.
I told you about Saturday.
Has been.
So that means Thursday.
You got to mute up, Kamar. You got to mute up.
Yep.
You're having a whole business meeting. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay. Yeah, Senator Gwen Moore has been a leader in this campaign. She has been an advocate and pushing. She actually attended one of our first meetings when we had this back in 2016 when we first started. So she's been involved from the ground. But to tell you the truth, the local senator, the local state senator that has been a real champion for us has been Senator Lena Taylor. She has been over there in Madison fighting and at City Hall fighting. She's even been attacked by City Hall. I mean, they wrote letters saying that she was lying about the situation when she's been telling the truth, and the truth had come out and vindicated her since then. But she has been sticking her neck on this issue. And if you see Senator Lena Taylor, give her a shout out and thank her for her leadership on this issue.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Lena Taylor. Lena is a friend of the show. And, you know, she's come in a couple times, and just her presence in the chat room, people was, you know, kind of throwing shots at her. And so I know she like, I'm not listening to that shit no more. So, but shout out to Lena. I rock with Lena. And I always acknowledge Lena for being involved. She's on the scene for, you know, some of everything, right? And
Right.
so shout out to her. So,
Right.
and like I said, my own knowledge of how you all work just from rocking with Chris Johnson over the years, I'm very familiar with all the work y'all have done. What we got to do is, I think you are a member of the People's News Network. I'm pretty sure you were at one point. I have to go back and check.
Connected with that because campaigns, I'm always getting hacked. They're always trying to take me out of circulation. So there's a way to friend me or send me a friend request, get me back on there. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, because you and I were friends, and I don't know if I had to take it down because I started getting those messages like, hello, how are you doing? I'm like, that ain't how Robert talk. This is you. He hacked. So, you know, you guys got to unfriend people when they do that. So it'd be like, how are you doing tonight, my friend? Like, we don't talk like that in America, man. Come on, man. Stop scam and rammery, man.
I had a friend who contacted me. He said, man, I didn't know your son died and you needed $5,000. I said, what?
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the new government program?
Right. Government program, exactly.
What's your Cash App? I'm going to send you $5,000.
Oh,
thanks, Robert. But no, so look, we got to reestablish that connection so that I can make sure I'm up to speed sharing, you know, what you all have going on. And this is one of the reasons why I also miss Kingfish, because I know you had written a lot of material, and you would post and you would put, you know, you all would publish Kingfish, and you have some poignant articles in there as well.
Yeah.
You know, if I was a writer type instead of just a motor mouth, I would try to pick up where Kingfish was very, very crucial information for Milwaukee. And so that's another thing. When we lost Chris, we lost Kingfish. But man, whatever you doing, man, just keep us up to speed. People want to ask me questions about, have we approached this? Have we approached that? There you have it. This is the expert. If you want to know the real about what's going on with the water, you got to holler at Robert Miranda and Flack, right? You have to. So even if you want to know what that filter was, what did you say the name of that lead filter was for your water, Robert?
Model, and this is go for all the brands. As long as you have model NSF 53, you're good.
NSF 53, NSF 53. If you're concerned, that is the filter that you need to combat lead. So, Robert,
stands for National Science Foundation.
Okay. National Science Foundation. So, like I say, man, you are always welcome here. And if you want to stick around, you stick around as long as you can. I think it might be time for us to get into some foolishness on Outlaw Radio. Oh, Robert, you know you're welcome. You kick it how you want, man. When you got to bounce, just, you know, throw up the deuces.
I'm getting hollered at right now. So.
Okay, that might be the perfect time. Like, hey, man, I got to go. Let me call you back. All right, man.
Everybody.
Come back again, brother.
Appreciate your time.
Very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Woo, man, you get it real. You get it right, man. You get it right.
I checked the list right away. I had to check the list, make sure my shit wasn't on there.
Okay. He said, let me check this out, brother.
Right. Yeah. I don't see no 53225, so I think we good.
No. Because this is new.
And we all should be about done drinking tap water anyway, right?
I mean,
I don't know how common it is.
Y'all anybody still drink tap water?
But people
I got the pure filters on my tap water, but I drink tap.
Yeah, well, you got a filter.
Oh yeah. I keep filters on
Courtney, you drink tap
Say,
water?
man, I thought we was all past the straight faucet water.
No, I mean, a lot of people drink faucet water. A lot of people cook with faucet water. A lot of people take showers. When those pores open up, you absorbing that shit every day, a couple
Right.
times a day.
Yeah.
So,
You right.
or even if they ain't drinking it, they getting fucked up.
Real
Oh
spit.
yeah.
And you know, I'm still one of them. I'm an old school. I'm an old head, man. I
Man,
would
dirty
drink out
water is the best water though. It got that little twang to it. I ain't drunk it in a while, but boy, it got that's what it make you do.
I drink out the water hose. When I'm watering my garden, I will drink out the water hose sometimes. I don't do it consistently, but that's what I grew up doing. And my wife is always like, "Ew, why would you drink out of that? Like it's been sitting out here all
You
winter."
grew up doing that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. This is what we do.
Right.
That's good water, man.
I
got a little
listen,
dirt in it. Got a little bit of drugs
man,
in it. That's
the
just safe.
flavor.
Yeah,
Like you said,
exactly.
that Outlaw, right? What
Right.
you say? But yeah, man. So but you're right. Most of the water that I'm going to drink is either bottled or we do have a filter on the refrigerator where you get the water from. Right. You know. So yeah, but every now and then, just give me some of that crypto spiritum on ice.
After a while, you could taste the difference.
I like Dasani water, so people always get on me and say, I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person. I love cold Dasani water, so I don't know if I'm
might as well drink that faucet shit.
Right. Here go the part of Outlaw Radio you love when somebody dissing somebody else. Right?
Bad water drinking ass nigga.
Right. You drink the right water. Your breath smell like lead. Right. Listen, he said, bring on ET, nigga. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. The name of the show is MI Aliens, and I put a post up that said BET, Black Extraterrestrial. So I wanted to talk about the alien thing. Now, see, first of all, we've had this conversation for years on this show. I say that a lot. People are like, Kev, why are we talking about what we did years ago? But it's because it's true. Years ago, we talked about, we did shows about, life in outer space and the increased occurrence of UFOs, which they now are calling UAPs, or they're changing the terminology on it. A lot of this is centralized now around the fact that there was this press conference where 3 whistleblowers who are experts, who are ex-members of the military and this kind of thing, testified before Congress. And they were very strategic, and the media has done a nice butcher job on what they actually said. So one of the biggest things that he said is, it is true that we have discovered non-human biological matter amongst the wreckages we have discovered. He didn't say it was aliens. He didn't say it was BET. He said non-human biological materials or organisms. And so that's one part of it. But the other part is what I've talked about for years, in which I just want to lay this out, because historically, and you look at America, right? You look at the United States of America. Up until about 1947, 48, people were still, riding horses and had wagons and shit. And I mean, I'm talking about before the automotive thing, the car thing just took completely over, right? America was a fairly simple country, right? You light your fireplace, you bury your ice. That's how you keep your food cold. And you want to talk to somebody, you got to send a Pony Express or you send a telegram. All of a sudden, from the 1940s to the 1960s or 70s, we go space age. Look at all the things that were revolutionized and invented during that period. People literally went from living in log cabins to living in high-rise, high-tech, efficient buildings, apartment buildings, right? Like technology. We went to have from telegrams and passenger pigeons to telephones, till we get to fiber optic communication, in which now we got Wi-Fi. But what I'm saying is, there's a thing called reverse engineering, right? This is a known thing, and this is what these whistleblowers were saying, is we've been involved in a decades-long reverse engineering program in which they took alien technology and repurposed it for our use, right? So And I get it, Paris. He said before Eisenhower and the interstate. I get it. But we had the Oregon Trail. Like people have always knew how to do it. You take the wagon, you get there. So I'm saying I've always said that there's life in outer space, right? And I've always said that the government was lying to us. And I've always look at this movie now, Oppenheimer, that's out. And if you really look into the Nazis and their belief in the occult and some of the actual inventions that Adolf Hitler had and was developing to put against the Allies, some of his alien base, we talking about anti-gravitational stuff. How did they get that technology back then? Germans ain't that much smarter than nobody else. So now that they're admitting, yeah, we've been finding wreckages for years. Yeah, we've recovered some. I say some aliens is already amongst us. You know, when you see somebody that's really funny looking, they probably an alien. Or somebody that's really got a strange talent that you can't understand, they're probably an alien. Like, damn, how can he bend his body? And, you know, look at pro athletes. So you say, damn, this big 6'7" can run faster than a probably an alien. Look around. Your girl might be an alien.
Maybe we are aliens.
I think
We
we all
might be. Come on.
different spots from different areas, you know,
I
different
mean,
planets.
after all, we spiritual beings. First.
Right.
I'm a parliament guy until I die. And I know you say George Clinton was doing more drugs than the law allows. And I know he was, but the concept of some of that stuff he's talking about black people really being extraterrestrial because of the differences from us and other people, our physiology, our biology, our skin, the way we move, just the uniqueness that is us is almost otherworldly in some facets, right? And so there are people who said, well, we believe black people were always aliens. Dion said, Kev, I don't believe in no motherfucking aliens, right? Hey, man, you are entitled to your opinion. Monica says we be foolish to believe the creator only made us. Right. And Paris said, ETs have been amongst us for millennia and we are spiritual beings. Come on, what you think about the BETs, the black extraterrestrials? I'm just calling them that, but because it's fun to say BET.
I think we are that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You hear stories, you hear some theories, I should say. You hear theories about how they say aliens built the pyramid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we are that, man. You know what I mean? Like, we more powerful than we could ever believe. And I think this is just a way of making us feel like we ain't. Like, it's something else out there, something greater than us. You know what I mean? It's a being that may be greater or, man, we the shit, man. And how could you be so naive to think the creator would only create living beings here? Like, it's so much shit. The universe is so big. The earth is like a grain of sand on the universe. You know what I'm saying? Right. We have to be real naive to think we the only beings alive.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where there's a guy, and I got to get his name. He's making his rounds on YouTube now. He's on Vlad. So if you look at, I watch a lot of Vlad TV. I'm not the best fan of Vlad because of, you know, his disrespect towards the minister, but he has good guests. And this individual, he's written books. They've tested. It's one of the guys who's in Congress. I should have written his name down.
Stephen Greer.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Thank you, Real. No so problem. I've listened at him talking about the way they've kind of created this perception to make you think certain things are UFOs that are actually man-made inventions based on alien technology, even, right? So, Real, I know this is one of your topics, man. Lace us up, man. Lace us up. What you think about this?
But about the black alien or just aliens?
Aliens. I said BET because that's just, however you want to take it, right? However you want to take it.
I subscribe to the belief that Earth was seeded by extraterrestrials. So I do believe that like according to like when you deal with the Anunnaki and stuff like that, they talk about how there was a Homo sapien here, or, you know, like a ape-like creature that the aliens came and spliced and genetically altered and shit and got us. So that does sound feasible. I mean, when you think about just the universe in general, our planet is on the outskirts. Like we will be considered like the sticks, or, you know, we the hillbillies of the universe. You know, there's billions and billions of star systems closer to the center of the universe that would be billions of light years more evolved than us and more technologically advanced than us. So I do believe that it's feasible. You know, they say that Mars was populated by black uh, people at one point in time, but then there's a story that say they were exterminated by the reptilians. So you know, never know. I like to just toy with the shit, but you know, I don't know for sure.
All right. Courtney, where you at with the UFOs? Do you believe in the BETs?
Hell yeah. You know I do. You know, I just like the universe. I mean, it's just so vast and so big, and just for it to be us and animals and plants, like that's it. There's nothing else. Like, come on, man. We know it's other stuff going on. I mean, we like once again we've had an ambassador for years that communicates with the extraterrestrial and all that extra shit. So, I mean, it's just hard for to even think that people don't believe that there's other life. That shit, wow. You don't think it's no other life there?
I absolutely know it is. I'm telling you,
Okay.
I've had people laugh at me for years. My own brother told me one time, man, you smoking that too much of that shit. You need to stop smoking that shit. Because I said on we were doing Outlaw Radio, I said I believe that there, because my perspective is what we've all said is how could this universe be so infinite and we be the only like life? And it's like that's kind of asinine and egotistical for humans to think that, like, especially when you live on a planet where you haven't even fully explored the depths of your oceans. You just had
Right.
some motherfuckers try to go see the Titanic and came up short,
Man,
right?
some niggas ain't never explored past the east side.
Right. You know,
And don't plan on it.
Right. I listen. Are we ready? Let me ask this question: are we ready for aliens to come out and say, "Hey, living amongst you this whole time"? You like this whole time I've been living next door to dude, and dude is a whole alien. Are we? Because we can't even. They still ain't even really gotten around to liking us yet, like people. So like are we ready for little green people or little lizard looking dudes or whatever they are, whatever they look like, the what they call it, non-human biological life life. What do they call them? Sean Mo said he in the chat room. He said, "I know for a matter of fact some of us are aliens." I don't like. I
mhm.
think once again, I think we have to expand our minds. We are like really quartered off. Some of us because of the indoctrination process we underwent when it came
Mhm.
to especially people of color. Because the best
Yeah.
thing that you could do to somebody who is extraterrestrial is make them believe that there's no such thing as extraterrestrials, right? But you still have never told me what your fucking problem with me really is. You feel me? So it's like a psychological program. Like, okay, well, there's no such thing as almost everything they said is no such thing as. We found out to this day that there is a such thing as. Like
Right.
that's just especially when it comes to what the United States government tells you. You can't like the government has lied about so much shit and admitted it. I wouldn't be surprised, like Mar said, if I was a fucking first class extraterrestrial right now and didn't even know it. Talking about I'm from the Africa. Your ass from Uranus, not your
Straight
anus.
up. Hey, them niggas
Pause.
know it. We all aliens and they know it.
Right, right. Monitoring the shit out of us like they from planet Kumbaba.
If they
They don't
learn it,
even know what we're
they
talking
might learn that their power is infinite.
about. Right. Some X-Men shit.
Yeah.
He said
They
Paris
may
is
learn
agreeing.
the
He said
difference.
we're in the suburbs of the galaxy. He said they found pyramids on Mars. It is very interesting to think about, Monica, just because I am saying sometimes you have to allow yourself to think. I don't see how you can look up in the sky at night. And this was when I was little. I used to look up in the sky at night and I used to say, wait a minute. They said the sun is a star, right? So when I
Yep.
look in the sky and I see hundreds and thousands of stars, are you telling me those are all suns and they all got planets going around them? That's where this started with me as a little kid. People say, that's why you was retarded. Can I still say retarded?
No.
Ewok said, we might be the zoo of the universe. Definitely. Some of us might be, we might be the prison colony. We don't know. Like
They say that. They say that too.
we might be the entertainment, right? Like
Stuck
where
in
they
the
tune in and watch us. Oh, they doing a car chase today. Look at them motherfuckers smoke that crack, and they might be betting on the shit somewhere. It might be pay per view. You don't know. We don't know, man. Monica says she ready as long as they don't come with no bullshit. That is what. Go ahead, Courtney.
I can't even imagine. Like, we've seen so many things online. That shit, it's been so many versions of aliens. And then it'd be the one aliens, where they face just open and it'd be like all them different teeth. Because they always, nowadays, all the zombie movies be like that. The whole face just open up. So, what I'm saying? We get greedy with them type of aliens. Not the green ones, not the gray ones, like some, finna eat your face off aliens. It's like, what the fuck?
Man, ain't
We don't
nobody
know
never
what
thought
alien we
about the
gonna get.
fact. Ain't nobody never thought about the fact that they might just be people like us that like Rail said who are further ahead technically and scientifically. They might just be like, and they might come with the coolest tech in the world and say, nah, I'm not human. I'm wondering if you're a human. We don't know because Hollywood and science fiction has us believing big ass green slobber. I come to destroy your planet and take your planet over and all
They
this
don't
kind of
even be
shit.
acting like that though, Kev. They be cool. They be all green and friendly nowadays, and that's where we got them fucked up because we gonna think they friendly and they rawr. But then I saw a show on sci-fi some years ago where it's these aliens working in the sky and they was working with humanity. Shit was going smooth, but the aliens wouldn't reveal themselves. And then one day it's like, all right, we finally gonna reveal ourselves, and the alien revealed itself, looked just like the motherfucking devil, or what they tell us the devil looked like.
See, there we
Oh
go. We
man,
don't know what
fucked
come on,
everybody up.
man. Yeah,
Fuck
see,
somebody up. I remember that show. I
What
was
the fuck
like,
is you
damn.
watching? Outer Limits? that's
you watched, that
Outer
was on
Limits
Tubi and shit. That was a Tubi,
No, that was on
Tubi alien
sci-fi. You
movie.
gotta watch the sci-fi channel, kid.
Okay.
Sci-fi.
Do they say I don't have like direct TV no more, so I gotta see
I
if
don't
that's on
either.
one
So
of my streaming services.
I ain't seen sci-fi in a long time. That was a long time ago.
T.R. Arthur, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Monica
Peace,
said what
peace.
was interesting, and
Hey,
what
y'all.
Rail said, she said what was interesting was the seeding of the earth comment. Absolutely, because but there's Rail, and I don't know if you would where I'm at with that is, but there's a show called ancient aliens or ancient UFOs,
Ancient Aliens. Yeah,
ancient aliens.
that
And
dude
they've
just
talked
be
about
stretching.
this race of aliens, and they got the hieroglyphics and all this, where they came and they developed humans to basically build the structures and all this kind of
Right.
stuff. And so I've watched that. So when you said seeding, I automatically understood what you're saying. But yeah, that I guess that is pretty interesting, Monica. You wanna what I mean, because I know when I look at it, and then I gotta throw this in there, because I was told we used to have Jason on the show who was an ex-minister, and he would always talk about that there's books that were removed from the Bible because they spoke of extraterrestrial or heavenly beings that were put here, and they kind of developed us, and then they became enthralled with us, so they were forced to leave us. And you've heard this story before. They fell in love with the humans and they wasn't supposed to. So so even on a spiritual level, it's so much information that says at one point or another there were some people from out there who was here, right? And so we just as Americans, that could never happen. It can never happen. That's science fiction. Science fiction only in the movies. He said, "Don't get a white man too much credit. They are the government, but aliens don't just don't just tell them the whole spiel.
Hell no.
These aliens may not have any. It might be a hustle for them. Like I'm finna go to Earth and sell this shit. Like they might willingly say, "Let me in on it." I mean, it ain't got to be all about I'm taking this shit from you, because you got to know how to work it first of all.
That's how white supremacists think. I'm taking like that's some shit that they come from out the caves with, man. Like I don't think if it was, some extraterrestrials, living extraterrestrials to come to Earth, I don't feel like they will be mean. I don't feel like they will be evil. They will be out to get us. You know what I mean? Because most of the creators' beings, you know what I mean, are peaceful. And there's only one species of mankind that's not too peaceful.
What if they be white folk aliens? Oh, that'd be terrible.
If they got a Confederate flag on their spaceship, it's gonna be like, oh shit.
You know it's a problem. You know
It's gonna be a long goddamn day.
Here we go again, y'all. Here we go again. We're gonna be ready.
Dion, what's going on, man?
Hello? Man, y'all still know. Well, you niggas been smoking that weed, y'all. You know what? I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I don't believe in aliens, and I don't believe in a motherfucking exorcist. I ain't never seen a nigga possessed by the devil. It's always white people. That's just like white people, the only one. Why the aliens ain't never kidnapped my dog before and probe that motherfucker? Why they just not showing themselves? We got thousands of years. Why they ain't never landed in Chicago or LA or Washington, D.C., where a nigga can see him and be like, man, that's a real alien. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that shit, man. These people tell us anything, and we go running for the hills with that shit. I'm the type of person, right? I ask people be like, they scared of dead people. So I tell people, well, why, if you weren't scared of the motherfucker when they was alive, why you scared of them when they dead? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of shit just don't make sense to me. Like, I don't believe in no motherfucker getting possessed by no devil. How the devil only possess you or the demon only possess? You don't ever see no black people going through that shit. Why ain't possessed a motherfucking eagle or some of the alien ain't snatched the eagle up and did something to their ass and shit? You know what I'm saying, man? I ain't care, man. We tweaking on this motherfucker tonight, boy. What up, boy?
Let me ask you a couple questions. First of all, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one around, does it make a noise? Now, how do you know? Nobody was there to see it. So how do you know if your hold on? So how do you know if your dog been kidnapped and probed? He might have been. And then the next day you were saying this dog been acting crazy in the motherfucker all day. I don't know what's wrong with him. His ass was probably sore. You just because you didn't see it don't mean it didn't happen, Dion. You can't.
How do the aliens look then? Give me how would they look?
You don't. Who knows? Who knows? We just alluded to the fact that we might be aliens.
Do you believe in a creator?
Nah, man. You know what? I battle with that.
Do you believe in the creator?
You know, like sometimes I'll be wanting to inbox real and have a personal discussion with him because I have what they call a faith of a mustard seed, right? And so I have a tough time believing in God. You know what I'm saying? And so I challenge people every day with that belief. That's just like the other day I was sitting back thinking, I said, well, goddamn, if God made Adam without a rib, why did he need to take one of our ribs to make Eve? You know what I'm saying? It'd be bullshit people be telling us. Or why ain't nobody found Mary's body and all that shit? You know what I'm saying? So with all that alien shit, it just be like, okay, it's just something to believe. Because I feel like this, man. We need an explanation on life. We have no explanation. Because like I tell people all the time, you know what I'm saying? The Bible really doesn't give a good explanation of life. It tells you something, but everything in the Bible, it has a hole through it. And if a person is an intellectual, they could think. Like one time when we were sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, why did God, if God always just been though? So one day he just woke up. That's another thing I don't like using the terminology he, because when you think about he these days, well, I don't know, a he could be anything. But I think about a man. A man is a he. So I'd be like, well, God always existed. So one day, the creator just woke up and said, well, let me make the heavens and the earth. Let me make this. Let me make that. And also, why did life have to be created? Because if we was like, wait, hold on. Because think about it. If we was created, we could have been created on any planet and evolved to the conditions on that planet. We would have been created. So however, if Jupiter got a lot of gas or Saturn or whatever, and we were created, we could have been created specifically for that planet and evolved to the environment of that planet. So if you sit back and just think about a lot of shit, logically, it don't make sense. Like I told a person today, I said, well, why Jesus had to be a man?
Well, hold on, Dion, hold on.
Wait a minute, Dion,
hold on, Dion. Slow down for a minute, goddammit. I don't know if you off that speed. You done drunk some good coffee. You in that damn truck, popping no-dos. Hold on. First of all, Kamar was trying to get in, but you was rolling over motherfuckers like a redneck trucker. So I want Kamar, what was you trying to put in?
No, I was just saying, man, a lot of the stuff that's in the Bible, you know what I mean, it's just symbolism. Okay. I don't think we supposed to take it literally. You know what I mean? We ain't supposed to take it literally. We supposed to just symbolism. Okay,
and I got Ewok on the line. Ewok, what's popping, man? Welcome to the MI Alien Show.
No doubt. Hey, it seems like that shit Dion called in because he got a lot of questions. He want answers to things. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, and this nobody got all of the answers, man. You know, hell, if you're scared of heights, then why would you sit up and believe that you're sitting on the globe in the middle of nowhere in a vast space and you ain't falling from that shit then? You know, there's a lot of questions can't be answered, man. You ask like 50 questions and shit. Don't nobody know that shit.
You're right. Don't nobody know it. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody know it. Like sometimes I believe that the earth is flat. Because when I'm in an airplane, it seems like I'm going straight. I ain't going sideways.
You ain't far off. I've said a million times. You know who wants you to think the earth is round? People who sell globes. That's who wants you to think the earth is round.
That's
you
right.
Listen,
yeah.
there's a purpose to all this. Let me catch my chat room, y'all. Give me a second. Monica said Albert Einstein was alien. He may have been.
Like
He's a funny looking weirdo.
Yeah,
he was different. Paris LaShawn said, I heard Tesla was an alien, or he was receiving telepathic messages from them. Look at the technology that Tesla, and he came along in a time where nobody was on that. And he came at a time where his inventions was like, dude, what? Who knows?
I mean, I know people that get messages now. So what, do we call them people crazy? When I say I know people that get messages from aliens, we like, man, Courtney, don't be fucking with them. They a little throwed off.
I don't know. It depends on where they say the aliens calling from.
It don't be nothing crazy. It ain't like don't kill humanity. It ain't like.
Okay, I was like, hold on, goddamn. Right, hold on, this is my alien partner in Oakland. Let me call you right back. I don't trust you. Tiarsha said all the planets in the galaxy, I believe there's living life up there or out there. I said out there, and she said, and think about the base in Nevada that we can't get close to. Area 51 is what it's called. They said. Yes, and that's what they're confirming, Tiarsha, now after decades and decades of denial that, yes, the Roswell incident really happened and there was alien bodies recovered. I heard, and this guy who's on Vlad, what's his name, Rel?
Stephen Greer.
Stephen Greer saying there was actually 3 ships. One crashed and they didn't find the wreckage till years later, a while later. One crashed and the individual survived and the other one got away, basically. And so, that one crashed and it died. So, but one lived, one died, and then one they didn't find until later. They said that these ships had pilots in them. And they're saying that's what's stored in Area 51. And that's what it's been all about. And that's where, but now there's also experimental military technology that you say It might be a UFO, but no, it's something that the United States military is working on. But that technology that is developed from is alien technology. That's what he's saying. And he's saying,
can I get a couple things?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to tell Dion, man, you can't walk around disbelieving in everything, man, because some of this shit is right before your very eyes. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say, I don't believe this, I don't believe that, man. You know, you gotta believe something, and you gotta you leave room for shit. This shit is possible. You can't just say, man, fuck that. I don't believe this shit.
No, I can't. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Some of that shit, I ain't gonna even keep it a buck with you, man. I can't even have my mind phantom on that. You understand what I'm saying? Because I feel that long as the earth has been in existence, by now they listen. They would have either invaded this motherfucker. Something would have happened. You know what I'm saying? Something would have happened.
I'm saying, how do you know it hasn't, Dion? I'm saying, how do you know that it has not?
Let me tell you how I know it ain't happened, because I ain't seen it yet.
Okay.
And you ain't seen it.
Okay.
And the world ain't seen it.
So if you can't see it, you don't believe it. That's your point.
You damn well, I ain't gonna say that because I don't see air, but I breathe.
Right, but let me ask you a question. You have a child, right?
I got a daughter. My daughter's 30 though.
Right. Okay, but I'm saying you've had a child, so you didn't see your sperm go to the egg and fertilize it, and all of that happened. You saw the girl get bigger and bigger, but you didn't see it. But you know it happened. But it was something you didn't necessarily see.
We ain't gonna go into all that.
Okay.
But
you went in God. You went to God. You went in talking about not believing in God, but you don't want to talk about a woman getting pregnant.
Straight out, right? You know what I'm saying? So now, as far as that situation, like I tell people, if the Bible was left behind for whatever reason, you understand what I'm saying? Why they haven't went over there and found none of them people graves? Because if you think about it, Luke, Mary, Peter, Paul, all those European names, those people over there in that area, that geographic area of the country, the world at that time, those people was Hebrews and Muslims and all. They didn't have European names. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, we
So
know
my
that. That's
thing
why he
is
just
this-
said it's a book of symbolism. That's what he just said. It's not even to be like taken
That shit
literally.
ain't real, Dion.
So another
This
thing
shit,
though,
hey, this news ain't new,
you know what I'm
Dion.
saying?
That
My
shit
thing
ain't
is
real.
as far as the aliens though, I just feel that we would have had some type of sign if it was though. You know what I'm saying? That's just like sometimes when they have those, what they call those famines, and you see all those locusts or frogs or a hurricane come take fish out the sky or something out the lakes and drop them. You know what I'm saying? We would have had some type of sign.
The man just said they recovered a living alien. What other sign do you need? It's confirmed that they've recovered extraterrestrial life forces.
He needs to see it.
You know
That's
what?
why. He
I'm
needs
gonna
to
tell you this, right? So if they recovered it, do you remember when they killed Uday and Uday, whatever Saddam Hussein's sons were, and they publicly displayed their bodies?
Right.
I believe that if they would have found an alien, seriously, if they would have found an alien, any type of form like that, they would have publicly displayed the body.
You talking about a time when the government had way more control over the media. And like I said, I think, let me say this too before we move on, because you know, shout out to Robert Miranda. I'm glad we had him on, but we're not gonna stay on all night. This conversation about God and the conversation about the extraterrestrial life is two different things for me. And I don't want to even run them concurrently. I don't want to have them at the same time, because I think it involves a whole different kind of perspective. And we've talked about it on the show ad nauseum several different times about what you believe in terms of the Bible and religiously, and who you praise as a deity. I don't want to get that twisted up with the fact that the United States government has come out and done a Senate hearing, and they've admitted that this is a real thing. I don't need a sign, because they're telling me, and that they've purposely hid it from people over the years. But the messages are there. Once again, you don't have to. You don't have to.
They was gonna come out and tell us about the Kennedy files, and then they didn't do it. So why all of a sudden now they're gonna come out and tell us about these aliens?
Well, they have told us. They've told us. They've told us. You know who killed Kennedy. You look at it. Like, what do you mean? You know way more now about it than the people knew when it happened. And you can look at the individuals involved. There's freedom of information stuff. Now, they ain't told you where his brain is yet, or what happened to it, or the inside particulars. But if you look at it, you know who killed him. So it ain't hard. I just let me catch the chat room. Paris Enoch is what I was talking about. Real, you familiar with that?
Hey, I'm gonna hang up, Kev, and listen to you.
Okay.
Love all y'all. Hey, Kamara, see you Saturday for the soft opening, man.
Yes, sir. I see you.
Stop believing in something, man. Stop being such a disbeliever, man. You got to believe something, man.
Hey, I'm trying to get this pocketbook fat. That's what I'm gonna try to believe in.
All right.
I'm just talking shit, dog. But you know what I'm saying, though? My mind thinks, so I think a lot, though. Courtney,
Well, I'm not believing me.
Don't tell the radio station that I seen you, please, because it's a soft opening. I want to come support my guy. I ain't on no funny shit with you. I'm gonna say hi to you, and that's just it, okay?
All right.
All right.
Smooth, Indiana.
All right, love y'all.
All right.
Hey.
Yeah.
Start some shit down at Kamar opening. Just like niggas.
She said, keep it
Kamar
smooth.
trying to have a smooth opening and niggas get into it. He like, God damn.
Turn the damn tea table over.
Right.
Paris LaShawn. Oh, you speaking to him. Monica said, oh shit. Dion is, shout out to Dion, man. Dion is part of the Outlaw family, and you'll never know where it's gonna go when I pick up the phone. Sightings have been going on for way too many years. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can hide the truth in plain sight, right? Because we've watched cartoons and movies, and we've seen things in these movies, and you say, oh, that's not real. They made that up. But where do a lot of this shit come from? We know a lot of the best stories come from some sort of true event or true individual, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't make up some stuff, but it's always based on something. So, but they got us believing I must be tripping because I seen something I can't explain. No, your eyes don't deceive you. This is why I said I leave enough space in my brain for the things that I don't understand. And so when it's something I say, what the fuck? I say, hey, man, that's one of them things you can't explain. It's real. No, I must be tripping or something. No. No, you know what you seen. So, you know, listen, I've had situations with, and this is just a ghost story, and this is a true story that I went, something that happened with my mom and I were sitting in our house one time, and my cousin who had passed away, he had just passed away. Me and him were really close. We spent a lot of time hanging out in the basement, kicking it, and me and my mom were in the house, and the music was on in the basement, and when the volume went up, and my mother thought it was one of her boarders, so she stomped on the floor like he know better than that. And we sat there, and it went down a little bit, and all of a sudden, through the front door comes the boarder. And my mother say, "You did not just bring your ass in this house." He's like, "What are you talking about? I wasn't here. I just can't. Y'all would have heard me go out the door. I'm just coming home." And then at that point, the music had turned off. So I said, "Do you have an alarm or something?" He said, No, I just got a CD player." So we never could explain it. I just thought it was my cousin kicking it in the basement, trying to hear some tunes, trying to hear some UGK or something. I know he missed being out here listening to 8 Ball and them with me. So that was my ghost story.
Hey, Kev,
go ahead.
Do you think that the people that make technology and shit got the idea from George Jetson, a fucking cartoon where he was talking to his boss through the TV and shit? So you mean to tell me the cartoon influenced people to make the shit? It's a cartoon. Right. No, they knew they was finna make that shit already, man. The cartoon creator didn't give nobody no idea like that, man.
Well, Ernest,
you can call anybody and talk to them through the phone.
Ernest, if you watch this guy on Vlad TV, he says that technology that they showed on the Jetsons, they had then. Most of it. Yeah. They had then because they had been reverse engineering for decades. So he says this like people just thought it was a cartoon. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man. Ian said this shit is comedy. He said, "Dude is funny as fuck." Dion is a trip, man. Dion keeping it buck, though.
He don't believe nothing. He don't believe.
He might be the alien trying to make sure we don't find out about him. Like, right. Low. He said, "What's up with them?"
Sprinkling the dust and shit. He's sprinkling the dust up.
Well, Paris, he says, "What's up with the cow mutilations in the crop circles?" This guy says on Vlad, he says that that's all man-made and manufactured. And there's a lot of deception in that way where they'll do something intentionally to make you think it's one way when it's actually something totally different. So like he said a lot of the UFOs that they will show you are man-made military projects, but they don't tell the normal pilots that. And so a lot of times these pilots have fired on these objects and never have been able to down one, never have been able to hit one. But he said that there's black ops operations in the government that nobody knows about, and so they steer you. It's a sleight of hand to make you think it's one way.
But what about the G forces that these motherfucking naval and marine pilots and shit talking about? This motherfucker was at a standstill and said, "Bing," and went to the right, went to the left from a standstill. Shit that is impossible to do. You know what I'm saying? They got it on their damn camera in their airplane.
Right.
This damn ship or whatever they was following, but just said choo and was gone. I'm talking about nanoseconds and shit. It's gone.
Right. And he talks about some of those occurrences. He talks about some of that stuff on there. I would say if I live in the Podverse, so like I said, if you have time, go and check this out. And if you were just a person who say they crazy as hell, this is all the more reason for you to listen to it, right? Like it's sometimes to be a skeptical, and you say, "Well, I'm not going to even listen to it because I don't believe that." Sometimes you're limiting your understanding, because you may find out something you didn't know. Paris says there are all kinds of varieties of aliens. Some look like us, some don't. The Russian KGB got a whole book depicting them. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. What? No, you know what? I think I have seen something about that.
Yeah, they say it's about 61 or 62 known species right now, according to what they say. A lot of folks say, and yeah, there's all different kinds. There's black ones. There's tall white ones with blonde hair. The tall Nordics. You got the little gray folk people talk about seeing. Then you
and there gotta be one hell of a conspiracy for all countries to get together and say, "We ain't gonna tell the people shit. We ain't gonna tell our people shit." So all of the leaders of the countries got together and just say, "We gonna keep this shit a secret." It's just showing up in every damn continent on Earth, and everybody got different evidences and shit. You know,
Real, have you seen this book? Real, have you seen something about this book? Have you seen any of the pictures or like what people would say is in there?
No, I haven't seen that book, but I mean, this alien disclosure project has been in the works for years. Like the government had, like the reason they telling this shit is because they had a time frame in which they had to divulge this information. It was called the Alien Disclosure Project, where there were different government officials. Like there's all kind of lectures and shit on it. I grew up watching it because my father into the shit. Okay. But there was all kind of high-ranking military officials that say like, yeah, we've been in communication with a lot of these people. We get a lot of our technology from these things. You know, they always said, well, you know, a part of the alien disclosure shit, that's what they be saying. Like our government had contract, you know, had agreements with particular ones. Like even in with Hitler now, they say that I think they were in communication with the tall Nordics. You know, that's a different kind of alien group type shit. But yeah, they always talked about the shit, at least on the stuff I watched.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, man, if you ever up late at night, maybe a little chop, maybe a little key, maybe a little slur, maybe, you know, wide awoke, you just can't sleep. Watch some of that stuff, Ancient Aliens, and watch some of the specials you can find in documentaries about the Nazis and their connection to the occult and the extraterrestrial. And they show some of the things. And like he said, well, I got to see proof. They show these things. They show like films when they invaded, when they took over Germany and all this, that they found actual footage and blueprints. And in some cases, they found the very objects that they was working on. And they said, how the fuck was they doing that? Like in particular, the one aircraft that was able to just levitate, kind of. It was anti-gravitational, and it just it didn't have no rocket or nothing, and they couldn't explain it, and how it was floating. Hitler was planning on using that for some deviousness, but the walls fell in. Allegedly, they said, you know, that you know, he killed himself in a bunker. I get y'all going on these conspiracies. Rail rubbed his hands together like an evil scientist, like ha ha.
Nah, I just think he lived a long and fruitful life in South America somewhere.
South America with the rest of them, right? Down to, was it Bolivia, where they all went to?
Chile and shit, right?
Yeah, they fled the scene expeditiously, right? And the United States let some of them go in exchange for some of those secrets. I'm trying to tell you, man.
They the FDA. If you look at it, a lot of those Germans that kind of like defected over to us, they became our top scientists and shit like that. I think they got the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. They one of the reasons we fluoridate our water, all kind of shit.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, man, I know it's cool to think, you know, I shouldn't be believing in nothing outside the box, but I challenge you that there should be something that you believe in that's unexplainable. Right? I just feel like you have to have that kind of capacity in your brain, or else you're really gonna be throwed when you find out something new. She said, ask Dion how he know the aliens didn't visit him while and zap him and to make him forget that he's seen him. Well, you don't know. Right. You don't know. We don't know what's. I mean, people. You ever been in a crazy, weird dream, and you woke up like, wait a minute, hold on. You don't know if that could have been. We don't know because they haven't allowed us to know. You've been spoon-fed information. If you don't believe that the government has lied and conspired, and I'm just being honest, if you as a black person in particular say they wouldn't do that, just go and look at what was on the nutrition pyramid that they hammered into our heads while we was growing up in elementary school. Right. It was damn near all lies. Almost all the shit they put on there that and told you was good for you was bad for you. Right? And so you say, what? Why would they do that? What'd you say, Kamar?
I said I call bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. Like they've been we going back to they clone Tyrone, y'all. Why people saying I don't believe that movie because the government wouldn't do that to me using my malt liquor. Really? Come on, man. Shimo, you an alien or no, you a lesbian, not an alien. What's going on?
I'm both, motherfucker.
You an alien lesbian?
You know it. What's going on, Professor?
Peace.
Dr. Scott? Hey, Courtney.
Hey there. How you doing?
don't know. I'm all right, Courtney. I guess, man. I guess it's been a rough 2 days, Courtney. I don't know
What you mad
saying,
about
man.
now? God damn, who you mad at now? Who you calling cuss out tonight?
Why I gotta cuss somebody out,
That's
bro?
what you do. That's what Sean Moore does.
No, it's not.
See,
No, it's not, man. Monday was that was yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not on that tonight, man. I want to talk about the aliens with you, bro, because you finally got to talk about it. So I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I'm glad y'all allowed me to talk about it on my show. I really want to give it up to y'all.
That's what's up.
Right. So what do you think about the aliens, since you're not, or are you mad at some aliens, or you want to tell them to kiss your ass, or what's going on?
Kiss my ass too, shit.
See, I knew it was coming.
No, they don't bother me. I ain't gonna bother them, man.
Okay.
You know, I watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind and shit like that growing up. We used to hear about that shit. My grandma and them talking about that shit. If it is, okay, what's gonna change? If it ain't, what's gonna change? We gonna keep on doing the same shit anyway.
So let me ask you a question though, Sean. You got 6 sons, right?
Yes, sir.
You always talk about that. And so say one of your sons strolls in the house one day, he got a little green chick with an eyeball in the middle of her forehead, and she got long scaly fingers and a tail. And he said, Dad, I'm in love. I'm finna marry her. She from the planet Ongbok. Are you cool with that? Say, son, love is love. Or you gonna say, man, you better get that cockroach looking wench out of here? How do you react to that?
She gonna eat Shaw when he say that shit. He better not say that.
Yeah, see, you know, I ain't just gonna attack her. You know, I'm gonna put it on my mom and them. That's what I'm gonna do.
What?
You know your grandma and them turn over in their motherfucking grave, man. They did not want you bringing home no white girls or no aliens. And look at the fuck you did.
Man, I ain't never.
I'm putting it on them. I ain't.
Okay,
yeah,
so on even a different level, the government says, hey, these people are here now. They're going to be able to own property because they invented aluminum foil and their family is rich, so they got money. Now he moves in next door to you, but he eats squirrels, and I'm talking about the squirrels that be on the fence, and he eat them raw. That's part of what he does. And so you outside in the back, and he grab a squirrel and bite the head off of it while he's standing there talking to you. You know, he look at that roach and grab it and eat it. You cool with that? Like, man, we good. Or you gonna be like, I don't want that motherfucker in my yard, or let me watch my puppy around him.
He's actually helping the ecosystem. So long as he keep that shit on his side of the fence, I ain't got a problem with it.
Okay. but you'll be his friend though. You'll go over there and hang out with him sometimes.
I didn't say I'm gonna be his friend because if he eating that shit, what else is he? I ain't gonna be no experiment for the motherfucker.
Wow. Okay. So it never changes.
We can be neighborly.
I guess my question is, will aliens become the new niggers? Like nobody wants you here. Go back to your own planet.
But
they tell us to go back to our own country.
That's the only difference. Niggas that can end this.
They gonna get accepted just like everybody else.
Well, you ain't accepting them. You just put it on your mama that your son can't marry the little green girl.
That's me. I'm one person.
Oh man,
society, man. Listen. Okay. Here we go. So society is going to conform, right, to whatever the powers that be tell them that they should do. They're going to talk about the movies that's been out and all of these clues and how these aliens are going to help us and they're going to enlighten us and they're going to enrich us. And before you know it, they're going to be just like these other movements and shit that then came in and they just took over. The aliens don't have rights and all type of shit.
So we're gonna be just fighting for alien rights in the future. They're gonna be marching on the Capitol.
They're gonna be able to vote. Listen, they're gonna be able to vote. Motherfuckers gonna end up becoming congressmen and senators and all. Man, shit.
I see you done really given this some thought. Monica Ben says, speak to your creator about your questions. We have direct access. Some people don't even believe in a creator, or they won't acknowledge somebody as being one. Paris says, how do we know that hasn't happened yet? That's what I'm saying. We keep saying, I gotta see it. Maybe you've already seen it. Maybe you've been wiped. Who knows? Or maybe, or maybe you've seen it and you was the one who got out the ship.
Like we all
black man.
A lot of time niggas see shit and still don't believe it.
Hold on, what'd you say, Courtney?
We said we all seen Men in Black. They ain't show us that shit for no reason. We all been zapped, seen shit and forgotten. Just went back about our day.
Right, and that's what you saying, right, Sean?
I didn't hear what Courtney said.
She was saying like we've been Men in Black, how they done zapped you, boop, you done seen it and they done zapped you. So you just the higher the powers that be said no, you cool. So until they tell
how
you,
will we know?
How
we won't know if they didn't delete it like the last 2 minutes of our memory. Shit, we don't know.
I was watching the Cosby Show all them years, and Bill the Pill was an alien, and he had no. Let me stop. She said they didn't.
Deja vu.
They didn't mark graves like we do now. Deja vu is an incredible phenomenon. I don't know if anybody's ever really experienced it, but it is a very weird thing, and still to me. And I heard this. There's these theories about time and the continuum, and what's this thing they call it, where certain people. And Real, I know you know about this. They have memories of things, and they'll tell you they know it's a memory, and people will say, "Well, that never happened." Like with the Berenstain Bears,
Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect. There you go.
We know the Mandela effect real. We know that.
Is it? I mean, people say Mandela was murdered. I remember it was on the news. I watched it on the news. I'm like, no, I never seen that. What's another good one from the Mandela effect?
Like the Bernstein Bears, how they changed the name of them. It's like Berenstein now. They didn't change that shit.
Right.
It's the same name. There's some weird, goofy shit going. Even with Forrest Gump, it don't say what we remember. Life is like a box of chocolates. Like now, if you go look, it say some different shit, like close to it, but it's not the same shit that we know that he say.
Perfect example is everybody and their mama say Sinbad made a movie called Sinbad the Sailor. And they say technically Sinbad never did a movie called Sinbad. He said, I've never done that movie, and you can't find footage. But there are a number of people who say that's bullshit. I went to the theaters to see Sinbad as Sinbad the Sailor in a movie.
It was Shazam, actually. It was because Shaq had a movie called like Kazam, and then he had a Shazam. And Shaq was a genie. He was a genie. He was trying to act like he didn't do the genie movie. Like, folks, we remember. We got clips online. We got pictures of the box.
Yeah, that was like
fucking with our mind, man.
That was like Mayor Barrett saying he didn't know about the water, and we had him on video saying, "Here, go take some water filters." I was like, "Oh, Mandela effect, right?"
Right.
Milwaukee effect. She said, "Get the original." Tiarsha says, "Get the original Bible and not the King James version. Then Dion will see their real names." I don't get caught up in the names of it. Like people make, and they be like, "No, no J then." It's like, okay, who knows what his name could have been, right? Like I don't know. The story, the importance of the story is the story, as they say. And it doesn't matter if his name was Tim, Tom, Jim, Jeff, or otherwise. Monica says they know they have a baby. They have to baby walk us through this shit. Otherwise, people will lose their minds. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, are people really ready to say? Because we still arguing about whether or not a biologically born woman is a real woman. Much less than somebody saying I'm from Mercury, I'm from a different galaxy. I'm, and I can do this. If oh shit, they'll hound you to death, dude. Do that. Be waking you up at night. Hey, do that thing you be doing. Like, dude, come on, man. Leave me alone. Let me see you eat one of them squirrels.
Back in the day, there was just a radio program that acted like the before TVs. There was a radio program where they was talking about Earth was being invaded by people from Mars. It had people going crazy.
Orson Welles.
Huh?
It's Orson Welles. You talking about when Orson Welles did the broadcast? What was the name of it? It was Orson Welles.
Steel or some shit like that.
It was not. It was. They made the movie. They made the movie out of it. They remade the movie several times, but he did it as a radio production. World of Worlds.
Oh,
War of the World.
Yeah. War of the World. Yeah.
Yeah,
and people was grabbing
I read that
shotguns,
before.
committing suicide, all kind of shit. So they wouldn't be able to just drop it on us. And plus, also, just from a standpoint of when you think about the government, they ain't gonna tell motherfuckers what they got because it gives them the upper hand on any other countries that may not have this shit.
right.
So they gonna keep it hush hush, try to figure out how to make it work for them, so that
everybody got their own aliens they cooping. Like we gotta
right.
keep this shit in America so we can keep making niggas buy Jordans.
Right.
Paris says the JFK assassination is where the term conspiracy theory comes from. Okay, I could believe that, and it's the JFK assassination is just a weave of it's nothing short of a conspiracy. In order for so many things to have happened in that one particular event, it would have had to involve so many people, right? It ain't just coincidence where one crazy dude went up in a book depository and started shooting at the president. There's so much other stuff involved with that. And that's why I say, look at it. That information is there. A lot of the documents are redacted, but you get an idea of where it's going. Because even in the stuff that they don't redact, you say, damn, they was doing that. Like the Martin Luther King papers, they'll send you, you can get those documents and see how they surveillanced Martin Luther King. But a lot of the dirtiest shit that they did to him and a bunch of other people is blacked out. But just what you can read, you'll say, damn, it was on this cat like that. Mike, shout out to Mike Kimmett. He said Dion is looking for alien life forms to beam down, lift a finger, raise the houses up, and transport people onto a 2 million square foot spaceship. Right, I mean, right, like he levitating. BET phone home, right? But what if they just regular people who just got higher technology than us, is what I'm saying. So it's like you meet one and he'll say, dude, I can't do all that shit. Now I have a machine that does that. I can't fly. I'm not a super scroll. Like I'm watching a Marvel movie. I'm just as entertained as you. Like I'm from outer space. I wish I could do that shit. I've been trying to get a job on Bookaboo for years. That's why I'm here on Earth. This might be a work exchange program for some of them. Like it ain't enough jobs here. You never know, man. I don't think you can rule anything out. Paris said, what influence and sparked these films and shows like Star Trek or Star Wars? Where did those ideas come from? I think people would be surprised about the things that they don't know. In particular, some things that have been kept from them and hidden from them. And this is why we stress the importance of something like critical race theory and other stuff like that when it comes to how we've been treated in this country. Is like, no, if you really, really knew some of the things that they implemented structurally to make sure that this system, preys on people of color, look into it. You'll be surprised. There's been so many programs that you'll say, what? And you'll be like, the government did this shit? Tiasha said when I was in high school, they showed us a film showing how Kennedy was shot from the front and not from the back, like they've told us. I swear Steven Spielberg had seen some things because his movies and books was out there. He's not the only one. It's a lot of authors where you say, now where you get that shit from? You ain't just sat around and made that up. They ain't got no weed that strong. I guess they doing other stuff. Paris says, speaking of the Jetsons, now they created flying cars and about to put them on the market. I'm going to hold off on the flying car for a minute. I'm a little scared of heights.
Do not hold off on the flying car.
I am. I'm saying I'm not getting one.
Bro.
I'm saying I'm not buying one. I'm not getting no flying car.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're going to be in one that's going to look like your car. It's going to be made by Dodge or some shit.
Why you gotta try to put my shit out there, though?
Tesla's driving them shit.
Why you gotta put my shit out there? It might look like a bus.
The only reason we don't have them now, they haven't figured out what to do with all these power lines. Once they get rid of all of these power lines, people gonna start flying their cars.
Wow!
Get ready for it.
I'm gonna hold off on it. I'm gonna drive. I'll say I'll just drive. I'll meet y'all there.
No, you're not.
Watch. How you gonna tell me what I'm gonna do? No, you ain't. No, yeah. He says Paris says certain alien species have different relationships with various world governments. They just come into disclosure. I mean, I'd rather be in the know, man. I'd rather be in the know. I'm not a person who say that let's stay in the dark. That's what's got us crippled to this point where they say my people are ruined for lack of information. Tiarsha says anyone from the South can tell you about the Hanks. Oh, the Haints, the spirits, especially Louisiana. My grandmother called them Haints in Mississippi. She said I had some relatives from Louisiana that had the gift of seeing dead people, like the show Ghost Whisperer. This is based on a real lady that can see them. He said, Kev, I hung up because I can hear you, but not the others so well. So I didn't want to be over talking people. Greatly appreciated, Ewok. You're welcome to call back if you got something to contribute to the conversation. It get a little hectic, man. Shout out to Ewok, because motherfuckers be on here on the phone being super rude, talking all over people, calling them out their name, cursing, being angry. Be certain people call into the show. They call into the show with that kind of energy sometimes. I don't understand it.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
I think you shoot another shot my way, pimp.
Can't we all just get along, man? Damn. He said he's went to Antarctica, Hitler, and some of his Third Reich. You talking about who you talking about? Paris? Who you talking about? Rail? You shaking your head?
Oh, Hitler. You remember we said he went to South America? They went to Chile, and then they went to Antarctica, and some people say they went to the center of the earth.
Okay. We talk so much shit, I be forgetting sometimes what we done said. Yeah, they got away. They got away, and they was assisted, right? They got away, and so, you know, a lot of them escaped. A lot of them, and they've had them. They catch some of them. Sometimes he'd be like 90 years old, like he's been a plumber in our community for 70 years. That motherfucker been a.
They had a whole community in South America where they were torturing and fucking with the locals.
Yeah, sure did. Yep, that's all out here, man. That information is all out here. They found pyramids in Antarctica too. He says. Monica says you have to be open-minded, or are you limited, or limit your knowledge, wisdom, and growth? You know what? I want you to be open-minded, but I don't want you to just fall for anything. Ewok says, "Real, do you think any nation has truly been to outer space, or can they only go so far? Do we even believe they've even been out there?"
Me personally, I don't believe that I don't believe that they made it to the moon when they said they did. So I'm kind of skeptical about them actually achieving space travel. I mean, I know they can get high, like people be like, well, what about satellites? Satellites still be like in our atmosphere. They just high enough to orbit this shit, but they don't like break free and like, oh shit, we done lost a satellite and start drifting off into space type shit.
This telescope that they just put up in space, not the Hubble, but the newest one that they got. You don't believe that's really out there? Millions of miles away somewhere. You don't believe
floating around, Kev? You think it's just floating out there?
They're controlling it.
Definitely could be. I don't believe that we've escaped our atmosphere yet, but that's just my personal belief.
Oh, I've heard a lot of people say they don't believe in the. I believe in the moon landing. I believe they've been to the moon.
My biggest question with the moon landing is, I got two of them. Like, the fact that they was able to call the motherfucker from the moon on a landline. And I lose signal on Appleton. Whenever I go down to Appleton, I lose my signal and shit.
Man, look, right on Poplar.
And then also, when they left the moon, who the fuck was that recording them leaving the moon? Like, them the two things that fucked me up. The fact that they could call the president from the moon.
Who's the nigga? Yeah. Who's the
and
nigga?
Who did they leave behind to take footage of them leaving the moon? And then he was able to send that footage to him as a keepsake.
Number one, I don't believe they call Earth on the phone. What'd you say, Kamar?
How about the picture of them taking the first steps?
That's easy though. That's very easy. It's called recreating. Listen, first of all, they didn't call back to Earth on no house phone.
It ain't the first step.
They didn't call back on the. You know this. They didn't call back on the house phone. What they did was. They had a radio transmission and they recorded the conversation. That's easily explainable. As far as you, Kamar, saying, I get when you're saying it's not the first step, but this is all you got to do. We get to the moon. All right, we go out there, we make sure it's straight. All right, dog. I'm gonna go back in the ship. You set the camera up, and when I come out, you just record it, and we'll say this is the first steps. All these people making TikTok videos now don't believe somebody can set up. As far as us leaving, as far as we, huh?
Didn't make the first steps on the moon. That's the second.
Okay. Well, if you want to, I guess you could be that technical about it. I guess that don't mean we wasn't there though.
No, but what we saying is they lied, right? So that's the lie within the lie. Then
I don't know. I believe they've been there. I
Mm.
believe they've been there. She says right. Mike Kimmon says shit. There's a show called Coast to Coast on the radio that's been digging deep into this for over 20 years. I've seen a lot of it. I know a lot of people who say it didn't happen. It happened in a Hollywood soundstage. Mike Kimmon said shit. It was a conspiracy that brought our asses over here. Monica said, "I can't deal with you, Kim." She said, "I can't deal with you." Hey, Monica, I've been knowing you since Rufus King. You know, I've been the same person since then. So she like, boy, you still crazy, right? I believed in aliens then too. I fuck the bullshit. Go ahead, Sean.
You know, you got me thinking now, man. You know, I had a grandmother who had a blue and a gray eye, and I've never seen that before. And now you got me wondering if she was an alien.
Right.
Put him a little shapeshifter out here. I don't know.
Man, listen, you ain't never been nowhere or been driving down the street or ran up on somebody and seen them and said, that is a funny looking son bitch right there. Like I'm just not just dissing them because they look funny. I'm talking about, but you like, but it's something else. It's not just like saying, okay, you're unattractive. I'm saying, no, bruh, that's a peculiar looking individual. That's what I'm saying. When they talk about, you know, aliens have been amongst us forever. We've procreated with them, and Monica saying until they start procreating, it's gonna be a whole problem. And I'm saying they probably already have. I might be one. Yeah. You might be one, Sean.
I done seen some little alien looking babies lately too.
There's all kinds of stuff I see all the time that I say, I want to look into that. Some of it's just fake news, some of it's just clickbait. But we know you'd be surprised what they base stuff on. He said Looney Tunes is Looney Tunes now. Let me see. I'm trying to catch this chat room. I'm behind y'all, and it be popping, and I don't be knowing it. War of the Worlds. That's what I was talking about with Orson Welles. Orson Welles, is he from Wisconsin? Is he from Milwaukee? I think he might be. I know he might be I think he's from Wisconsin. Monica's agreeing with Fonzarelli. She said exactly, Fonzarelli. People are losing their mind. These fools can't even drive on the street, let alone fly in the sky. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Imagine reckless driving if we flying. I'm cool. I'll just drive. I go back and give me another horse. Fuck the bullshit. Dion says, so my thing is, do a spirit look like itself or something else? I guess it looks like whatever your eye interprets it to be, Dion. That's what they tell me about visions, is that it looks like. I never thought it would look like that. Everybody has their own interpretation. Paris says Hosea 4:5. How people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because you have rejected knowledge. Okay, I halfway quoted it.
Don't be rejecting it, Dion.
The James Webb Telescope. Thank you, Paris. I know I was just reading about the other day. Dion said they ain't been to the moon and ain't nobody else been to the moon. I don't believe that. I believe we've been to the moon. He said who filmed it? We talked about that. It's easy to set that up. Just like I said, you just get off and hold the camera, and then I'm gonna get off. Y'all believe all these TikTok videos, but y'all don't believe somebody can get off and hold the camera and say, "Come on out." Say that again, Kamar.
I said, well, then that ain't the first motherfucker.
It might not be. Maybe he got off first and went back in and told the next dude, "Okay, now you get off."
Okay,
and refilm me getting off first.
Yeah. Everything else they told us was a lie.
I'm not ruling it out. That's damn shot. That's the main thing. I'm not gonna rule it out. If I didn't know, if I found out otherwise, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, my mind is blown. I'd be like, damn, anything's possible. You're right, Mike. He said some of us sleeping next to damn aliens right now. You already had a whole baby with them. You don't already crossbreeded. You don't know your son is part Mars and part black. Fair said Voyager spacecraft's one that just left the solar system, and they said they lost communication with it for several years, and out of nowhere it regained communication. I did see that I did see that as well too. Yeah, they said it just all of a sudden it just blinked back on one day, like boop, I'm back. Where you been? And now you think about it, going out and coming back in. Think about how much technology has changed since then, and it was still like if you turn your old computer on from 12 years ago, you can't get online. It got Windows 7. They discontinued that shit.
We got
So how
more
this shit?
technology on our cell phones than they had on the spaceship, man.
Right. The moon is red. I got to get out there and see it, Dion. I got to get out there and see
Well, I
it.
like when it's red. I'm finna go outside. Yeah.
Yes. Got to get the blood moon.
But I'm saying
That's
though, do
it.
y'all ever notice? I just said this when you try to. I don't know, man. The moon ain't even real. Fuck the moon. Shit ain't real.
Not a moon ain't even real.
Yeah, man. Be out here trying to take pictures and shit get to shrinking, shit get to change and shit. And then the lens need to move the phone, then the shit be huge again. But then the phone's super small. You like, man, this shit ain't even real. So fucking hologram, niggas. Fucking with my mind every day.
Black people gonna be so confused when this show is over. Like, I don't even know what I believe no more. He said he's seen shapeshifters before. Paris said he's seen a shapeshifter in a car. I've never seen a shapeshifter, but I've seen some funny looking people. Dion said no other country has been to the moon. In Russia, they'll say they disagree. Monica said, me too. Ernest said, why they ain't been back to the moon in 50 years? I mean, what you gonna keep spending all that money to go up there and walk around for?
They got money to go to goddamn Titanic. Shit, we got a whole bunch of money to waste on a whole bunch of other shit. So why not go to the moon and Mars and everything?
Hey, you mess around and what's your man name? Elon Musk. That'll be next. He'll be sending a 62 to the moon and get on the bus and go to the moon. I ain't going to the moon. Fuck that. They build whatever factory out there they want, man. I'm gonna go to the moon and go to work. I'm cool. I'm gonna stay down here on the ground. No flying cars. Listen, I wanted to put this out there too before we get off tonight, before we, run down for the Outlaw family what they got coming up. Of course, we know Kamar has his big soft opening this weekend, which we plan to be at. It's from 11 to 7 on Saturday. He'll be there 11 to 7, I should say, on Saturday. Okay, at the Sherman Phoenix. But I'm a little perturbed right now, and I'm gonna tell you why before we go, because Illinois has legalized recreational marijuana. Minnesota, August 1st, legal recreational marijuana. Wisconsin is sitting in the middle of this, and we on some bullshit, making each other beg for money, for taxpayers' money, instead of following suit, legalizing marijuana, reaping the tax benefits in a city like Milwaukee that's so desperate for tax revenue that they raise the taxes on individuals who already don't have no money, right? It's the ultimate blood from a turnip skit, or blood from a rock skit. And so why wouldn't you even say, let's just legalize marijuana? I guarantee you hundreds of millions of dollars would flow through Milwaukee, and you wouldn't have to beg Madison to give you some of your money back. So right now, I know there was a referendum, and people misunderstood it years prior. There was a referendum in which they wanted us to come out and vote, and they said that the referendum for legalizing marijuana, recreational marijuana, would be on there. And more people, in particular black people, turned out to vote for that than any other election. And they overwhelmingly passed this, but then it just went away. But not even for the fact about getting high, okay? Because the people think, oh, it's all about you getting high. It's not. I'm looking forward to marijuana being decriminalized, right? And that's my biggest thing, because a lot of my brothers end up going to the penitentiary, serving time with murderers and rapists, and rapists. That's not a word, but I'm gonna use it. Rapists, right? They end up doing time with them for selling marijuana. So I'm calling, like, it's time for us to start demanding to our candidates as well, in addition to, we talk about economic stimulus, the legalization of marijuana should be part of that. The state of Wisconsin, Milwaukee in particular, needs an economic stimulus package. And it needs to be created. It needs to be created and executed by the people who are leaders here. Go ahead, Sean.
They're doing it in another city. I forget about it, but as well as allowing this recreational marijuana, they should allow ex-felons who have been locked up for selling marijuana to have the opportunity to open these facilities.
Well, why not everybody have the ability to open a facility?
They went to jail if they've been convicted for selling weed in the past, right? If you're a felon, you can't open one of these joints,
right?
And you gotta have a certain amount of capital to invest yourself. As I don't know if they call it reparations or paying back or whatever, but whatever city or state this is, they're allowing felons who were convicted of marijuana charges, marijuana crime, the opportunity to open marijuana facilities.
So you said
And they
include
provide
felons. You said include the felons in, because I thought you were saying only they should be able to open them.
No.
Okay,
no.
that's what it sounded like you were saying for a minute.
No.
Okay.
Look.
Let me see. MC Tones in the chat room.
Right now.
You said you smoking right now.
Smoking right now.
Well, thanks for telling us. MC Tones said legalize weed and pimping. I mean, listen, I'm not opposed to some form of legalized prostitution in order to make it safer and to, kind of create. I feel like we need to make money off whatever we can right now. I'm sorry that comes off a little cold and capitalistic, but when I see a city like Milwaukee, where what we're really missing here is economic opportunities for people of color, I say, well, legalize this and that. Deregulate this and that. It's time for you to start doing that when the money gets tight. You got to make moves. Paris says, Kev, marijuana been legal for 10 years now in Colorado, and they still got people locked up behind marijuana, and it costs over $1 million to open up a dispensary. Once again, I'm not saying that it's perfectly executed in the places where it's at. I know in Illinois in particular, I've read articles of how the city of Chicago has generated so much revenue that they are utilizing. I don't know where all of it's going, but they're utilizing it as part of their economy to change things. I thought I saw some reports that said a lot of that money was going back into the infrastructure in Denver that had that they've been making off legal marijuana. MC Tone said 2 aliens was his best customers. Okay. Okay. MC Tone is pimping the aliens. Monica Ben said, not pimping. Yeah, bank pimping legal, baby. I mean prostitution, not pimping. I'm sorry.
You didn't already said, Kev. You didn't.
No.
It's
I
too
know.
late.
I gotta.
Yeah.
No, not pimping. Because pimping, when I think about that, that means young girls can be victimized, women can be physically accosted. I mean, unless you're gonna be an agent, I think they need to give it a different name, right? Underage girls should be off limits, and really physically assaulting women, just beating with the hot hangers and all that other stuff. I mean, I don't think that should
those
be
abusers and kidnappers. Like, the thing is, people start blending the two terms. You know what I'm saying? There's abusers, traffickers, and kidnappers, and then there are managers or agents, whatever you want to call them. But the media portrays it a particular kind of way, because God forbid black folks start getting money that can't be taxed.
And so you pro legalizing pimping?
He said managers or agents.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it no different than a motherfucking manager of a artist or a broker, a service broker.
What am I paying for though? That's what I'm saying. What am I paying you for? Like,
protection.
You can't give me real. That's what the fuck they be saying. How? After I walk into that room, ain't nobody in that room with me.
Not paying, Courtney. Babe, listen, you're not paying. We building together.
Oh my
man! I used to watch pimps hoes down. The pimps would be rich. The chicks would be in little hotel rooms struggling.
As long as you 10 toes down, you go, oh, my bad. That's a military term. We can't use that.
Oh my gosh.
What is this?
Wow.
Y'all can't tell me what they paying for. Like I said. Yeah. After I walk into that room, ain't nobody in the room with me. Now, if dude just choked me out, I'm just dead now. What were you protecting?
Hold on. I said protection. I think it's more than that. I think if somebody can help manage you and take care of the things, because you got to be on the strip 24/7. You ain't got
damn 24/7.
Yeah, somebody needs to secure your doctors, your insurance, your doctor's appointments, your fashion consultant, making sure that you got somewhere to stay and transportation. That costs money.
I ain't seen Nan Ho just be living lavish. It be all the pimps with the great, wonderful things in the you know what I'm saying, NTV crib type cribs, and the chicks, it'd be like, where your crib at? Where's your house? Where's your apartment?
But see, that's what I'm saying, Courtney. With the management, you could get that. He could set you up with a bank account.
Man, I ain't never seen it, is what I'm saying. Y'all keep saying what it could be. I ain't never seen it.
I'm just tripping off how everybody.
I think y'all trying to get me to be a hoe. That's what it sounds like. Like, Courtney, look now, it could be.
So, can I say something?
Everybody making it sound good.
Right.
This is a good job.
Come on, Courtney, reconsider.
This is a good job.
Oh my gosh. So no, look.
Let your next move be your best move. It'll be all smooth.
So, silly as hell. But,
what did you try to ask, Sean?
On a serious note, right? You know, I grew up in the 70s, man. My household, my stepfather was a pimp. My mama was a prostitute for 22 years. She retired and moved to California. But pimping was a business. I mean, it really was a business, and I don't want to say it was regulated or nothing like that, but it was allowed in the city to a certain extent. And those pimps, those hustlers, those pastors, those homeowners, they all coexisted, man, within our community. And if you think about it, the 70s going into the 80s, man, was one of the most prolific times in Black Milwaukee, as far as finances and
didn't it have a lot to do with the job?
What about all the women that got
it was
killed?
The jobs, but it wasn't just the jobs, because listen, that's how.
Let's talk about some of the bullshit parts of it, man. I feel like we glorify it, man.
Hold on, Kamar. I'm gonna let you get off. I won't. And Tiasha is funny because she said, I can tell you. She said you slurring, Sean. She said, I can tell you smoking and drinking because you slurring.
No, they coexisted, man. You know, listen, my grandmother worked in the factory, but her son was a pimp.
Okay, let's stop right there. Kamar, I feel like you had something you want to dunk in here.
Yeah, I was just saying, man, I feel like we glorifying pimping on the show tonight. Like, you know what I mean?
Most definitely
What about all the women that got killed from this profession? You know what I mean? Damn. What about all the women that got raped from this profession? You know what I'm saying? All the women that got put on drugs, and you know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of bullshit that go with it too. It's a lot of pimps that got killed in this profession too. You know what I mean? Like, let's look at that versus doctors and the lawyers that we talking about, or the managers that we say. Like, how many managers getting killed versus how many pimps get killed? You know what I mean? Like, come on, y'all. Let's talk about some of the bullshit parts of the game too. Let's not just glorify that.
Well, since you just want to be negative, I guess you're right. Right. You just want to be anti-pimp, right? Tiasha said Governor Evers won't want to get it legalized to open a dispensary. It will bring money to our states, but the senators, the conservative side, they're just trying to figure out the money. Somebody was talking about a town in the you said Evanston, Illinois, Dion, but it's legal in the whole state of Evanston. I thought, it's legal in the whole state. He said this is Dion in the chat room. He said them trans people are aliens. Wow, damn. Dion said it. I didn't. Paris said that's the law they told us in 2012 with Amendment 64 passed, and we still ain't seen where that money is going. It's going into their pockets, not in school infrastructure. Damn. Monica says she said right, Fonzarelli. But I'm gonna be my own manager. I mean, let's be honest. Most women are their own pimps, anyways. Because I don't really want to make this conversation about that. But I'm just saying they choose how and when it's distributed and for what. So ultimately, they are their own manager. So but a lot of the pimps talk about Sean, since he was talking about the 70s, to talk about renegades and women who are out here to say, no, I don't pay no pimp. I pay myself. But anytime you get in any industry, you got to have managers and you got to have workers. And what Kamar you said was totally true about the violence and the victimization and this kind of thing. And people say, well, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you could implement places where security is heightened so that things like this wouldn't happen. Realistic rehab where women could go when they were. I don't know. I don't want to make no excuse for it either.
We could bring up
the child trafficking
legally.
We could bring
Slavery
up
was legal, but that don't make it right.
Hold on. So we can tell a woman that she can't have a baby, right? We decide on what they do with their bodies. Okay, you can't sell your body. You can't abort your baby. You don't have the right to do shit with your body. There was a time when these women, when women could open up their own brothels, there wasn't no men involved. It was female madams, man, female pimp. That was a business. That was part of a boom.
I agree with that.
It was a predatory business, Shiny.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But what did we do with the game?
It was predatory.
What did we do with it? What did we take the game and do with it? You know what I mean? We turned it on each other and start banging on each other and shit.
Crack got involved. He said that's why. Dion said that's why everybody trans now. The aliens are coming
what y'all
out.
saying as far as the history.
Hold on, let me catch the chat room. Dion says that's why everybody trans now. The aliens is coming out. MC Tone said you paying for my protection. Monica Ben said hell no. She said I'm my own agent and manager. MC Tone said all my girls drove Eldorados back in the days. TR said why you laying on your back, the manager will give you $10 or $20 out the $1,000 you made. Don't he put something aside for you? I don't know. You got to get shoes and all that stuff.
Shit, you got to put aside for insurance, bailout money, clothes.
She said I can pimp myself, right? I can't believe we end up talking about. We started off talking about water, fresh water. We end up talking about pimping at the end of the show. Right. I told y'all the bullshit was coming. He said no, now his daughter is pimping him. Wow. I get $40 when I get off. He said, God damn. Monica said, I'm against any regulation of my body. That's where a lot of women are at. And so listen, and what is this? Where everybody wants to go overseas, where the weed is legal and they got the red light district, Amsterdam. I would like to know how it's working for them and what they use over there, because they have like actual like stores and boutiques, right? Like, so you can walk and go and pick and choose. It's really a job per se. I'd like to know what they do to prevent some of the things because Kamar, he shined the light on the most negative parts of what happens when people prey on each other. And so how can that be prevented?
I agree if we could do it with some, you know what I mean, with some rules and shit and some boundaries, you know what I mean? If it, like we was talking about the brothels and shit, I don't see nothing wrong with that type of shit, but let's do it right. Okay. The way we doing it like it's fucked up. Let's not paint this picture like it's cool. Okay. Go ahead, Real.
Oh no, I was gonna say the dangers and negativity came into it when it was made illegal. So the acts didn't make it dangerous. Making it illegal so back in the day, like Sean was saying, when the women ran the brothels, they the ones that built the West. Like California, all that shit, that was built off of prostitution and brothels. Those same women who sold their bodies and built the brothels, they built the saloon, so now the man has someplace to eat and drink when he get his women. Like otherwise, the men was just living in tents because they was just gold rush people. But then what happened is the government got involved, seeing that women were becoming too powerful and making too much money, because they the ones that built the schools, they the ones that built the grocery stores, they the ones that built the town off of prostitution money. So it was made illegal, and that's when men came in, because since it was illegal for women to do that shit, the men acted as the liaison and connect Like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna throw me a party. I'm gonna have a bunch of friends come over. You and your ladies come over, get this bread, hit my hand on y'all way out type shit. So that's how it kind of developed. All that negative shit, again, that I mean, it does happen because whenever anybody do anything, when too many people do shit, it always get done wrong. Like what the first traffickers, well shit, the first traffickers was shit. The first traffickers in America were the Asians because they would write home to these girls that, hey, come over, I'm good. Come over, we get married, all this shit. And then when the Asian women would leave their family to come to America to be in Cali with these dudes that wrote home, they didn't realize that they weren't coming to be a wife. They was coming over to be prostituted. So those were the first traffickers type shit in America. But of course, propaganda has to come in and paint this shit as seedy so that it would deter people. Think about it. If there was no shame or fear of danger with prostitution, any woman can open and close shop in a day and make thousands of tax-free money. So that's why it had to be stigmatized and demonized. I mean, me personally, I would rather see a woman on the corner working versus these people on the corner begging. Like I don't like hustle. I don't like beggars. How you got a sign in the ass? Like that shit don't match to me. Like, why the fuck you holding up a sign begging for $1 when you can go out there and get $40 some kind of way? But of course, it had to do that
because we're gonna frown on it.
It all go down to the money, who getting paid.
Okay. MC Tone said, I like this subject. He might buy him another Fleetwood. Paris is agreeing with your assessment that the gold rush states was built off of that. Mama Jenkins says, I was brought up around the older women and we were told it was best to be a prostitute and not a hoe.
Exactly.
I think I've heard this
at least
explanation instead of giving it up for
Real
free.
Shit. Real shit.
See, MC Tone said, who knows where I can get them shoes with the fish in them? Paris says OnlyFans is where it's at now, and Instagram, and don't forget Twitter or X now. Yeah, because I had Twitter. I've never been a heavy Twitter user, but they gave me a Twitter account when I started with Blog Talk years ago when I started doing the show. Because I didn't even have Facebook. I got those accounts through Twitter. I mean through Blog Talk Radio, and so Twitter used to be just a lot of back and forth communication, but Twitter is super heavy porn now. It's like, dude, what the hell? I know I'm not I'm not friends with all these people. I'm like, why am I getting so much of this? Twitter. Regular Twitter.
What kind of Twitter you got?
I got
Twitter. I don't be seeing no porn.
I don't know then. Maybe you got the wrong Twitter. Maybe
that's all I see.
No.
Hey, hold on, Real. So
you got the wrong Twitter.
Real, you said you understand you see the same change in Twitter, correct?
Well, that's all I see. That's the only reason I'm back on Twitter. Is the freedom of expression.
Okay.
Like I've rediscovered Twitter when I spent 2 years in Facebook jail for the whole pandemic shit. But then when I was over there, I'm like, oh, okay. You can say what you want, post what you want. I'm on Twitter more than Facebook now. I just enjoy the freedom. I enjoy as a voyeur, I enjoy people who express themselves in out of the box ways. So
it sounds like you're trying to say you like porn in a very educated and classy way.
I definitely enjoyed the woman figure and the human body. And I like the fact that it's based off of what I follow. So it could be philosophy right here, porn right here. Like one-stop shop for me. So I'm good there.
So you ain't no Terry Crews, but you like you a good flick every now and then.
Oh shit, Terry Crews talking about he addicted and shit.
He wanted to fight his wife over the shit. Bitch, leave. So I
ain't never got mad at my family because I couldn't get no porn time, man. That shit is crazy.
Tiarsha, I agree with you wholeheartedly. She said Kamar shined the light on the way it actually was. Those brothels was beating those girls. Also, it wasn't nothing positive about it. It was for me, it was human exploitation. She didn't say that. I added that part. MC Tone says Shaq is an alien. He may well be. I look, the whole NBA that might be why they come here. Like, I'm going to go to Earth and become a basketball player. My family will be rich. Facts. Paris agrees with you. Mama Jenkins said,
why you talking like Giannis though?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I go in and out of different personalities, man. I've been drinking this water. You heard Robert say, and y'all said who drink tap water. I was the only one who admitted it. Now you see why my ass so flicked. Mama Jenkins said she was finishing her statement. She said, you always broke, but a prostitute always has a lot of money if you're giving it up for free. Monica Ben said, grandmama always said we sit on gold mines. No woman should ever be broke. I've heard my mother say that before, like no woman should ever be broke. And for various reasons. Dion said I fuck with Twitter. I can imagine Dion likes Twitter. MC Tone said he like her grandmother. He said, yeah, they put me in Facebook jail behind some shit. And how long you think the musty man is gonna keep the ex? I don't know, man. We'll see. MC Tone said, internet Remy have a business. I will be from pimping hoes to cleaning carpet and telling jokes. I don't know. I don't know how that statement was supposed to come out. Listen here, we got a big weekend coming up this week. Kamar is about to launch his soft opening on August 5th. If you can get out and come to the Sherman Phoenix and holler at my boy, please do so. I'll try to get through there for a short second and be in and out just to show my brother some love. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna stay the whole time, but I'm definitely gonna show up and dap him up because I've been just here with him while he's been building what he's doing, and I'm so happy for the brother. Like really, just like man, that is what's up. This is a great American success story on how he's been able to establish his business. I kind of told what you was gonna be up to, Kamar, because I'm so proud and happy for you. But what else you got going this weekend?
That I'm also gonna have a table set up down at the Fondy Market. And Sunday I'm gonna be getting
hold on, Kamar. We got interference in the background. Go ahead, my brother.
And Sunday and Monday I'll be getting ready for Tuesday.
Okay.
For the continuation of the opening.
Right. And this is all gonna be a build up until you get to your real grand opening. I heard you talk about that too.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we will be open every day. We're gonna have a grand opening party though.
Okay. And what hours will you be open once you're in motion? Like
11 to 7 every day. Every day we open. We be open from Tuesday to Saturday.
Okay.
Tuesday to Saturday every week, 11 to 7.
Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. My brother, I'm happy for you. Mama Jenkins said congratulations, and she hoped to come down and support.
Come on, Mama Jenkins.
Monica said congratulations, and MC Tone said we proud of you. Real, what you got popping, man?
So Saturday, I'm gonna be at the soft opening. I'm still working on my book, 40 Ways to Get $40, which will have a section on sex positive positions that people can find themselves getting extra money in. That's just one of the aspects that I'm gonna break down in the book. But otherwise, just building my TikTok community. A lot of people starting to fuck with me. Just on TikTok, higher frequency, where I just drop knowledge on my journey of self-love and shadow work and the benefits of meditation, as well as discussing any Bible questions that people may have and shit. But otherwise, just doing my book, building my brand, and you could catch my book 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope on Amazon. And I will try to bring whatever copies I got with me to the opening on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. Sean, you in motion this weekend with your book? What you got popping?
No, I ain't doing nothing with that book right now. I'm putting it out there, but I'm writing another book and getting ready for my son's show on the 20th in Chicago. Man, speaking of, he's looking for 2 dancers to go with him to Chicago, and he's paying those dancers. So if you know anybody, man, that want to try to take a shot at this shit with us, come to call us, man. We need 2 dancers. We gonna need a routine. It ain't just gonna be no, get on stage twerking and shit. You know, we need some dancers, man. We trying to put a show on for these people. So it is an opportunity. You will be paid, and if he get picked, you going on tour with him. So give me a call.
What do you want? You want to put your number? You want to put it in the People's News Network, or you should maybe you should post it.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Because that's definitely, I think people need to hear about that. I mean, some people might want to take advantage of that. Mama Jenkins says, what time is Mama Jenkins? He said it's 11 a.m. to 7. Correct, Kamar?
Yeah, okay. 11 to 7.
Okay. Look, I want to, because this is the last show of the week. So first of all, I want to thank you all, but it's an extra special, heartfelt thanks from me, because the way you all been supporting Outlaw Radio, people making posts, saying how much they love the show, just giving us love. I mean, I'm seeing people in other places saying this and that about Outlaw Radio. It's a lot. It's a lot of humility involved, because I've been way up when the show's been popping. And like I said, Kamar and I know there was a time when we couldn't turn anything on without 2,000-3,000 views. Till at some points I was looking like, dude, there's 12 people on here. We only had 30 people listen to the show. So anytime there's support, man, I am not a person who takes it in thinking, oh, I'm the greatest motherfucker I ever did and the coolest motherfucker ever with a microphone. I think I'm pretty good, but I think it takes y'all support to make people really, listen to the show. And of course, you may not agree with everything you hear on the show, but sometimes that's what needs to set you in the direction of the show, because sometimes you need to be disagreed with. My dad used to always tell me, if you're in a room where everybody agrees with you, you're in the wrong room, right? And so what we as Black people need to do is explore being open to new ideas and new information and new perspectives. And we need to really be more understanding of our own perspectives, because we get to argue with each other about the argument. One of the reasons I do the show is to create a safe space so we can have tough conversations. Sometimes it gets a little heated. Sometimes people get upset. But that's why we do the show, because everybody can leave unscathed. Nobody done got their ass whooped, jumped outside the club, bust upside the head with a bottle, kicked in the back of the head. That's what this is for. And it's also to celebrate our greatness. And I believe the only way we'll really be able to understand who we are and what we're actually capable of is by accepting our own greatness and respecting each other's individual greatness, right? A lot of times, let's be honest, a lot of our problems start with each other because some of us are envious and jealous of other people's greatness. Instead of saying, man, no, go and get your shine on. I love it. Big ups to you. I'm going to be able to do mine next, right? We need to develop that. And so when people say we need to come together and all this, that's what that really means, is we need to be more accepting and loving towards each other, man. There's no excuse for you to be against another Black person in 2023. I hope you understand that. And we always worry about some super secret savior who's going to come and try to do something for us. I can tell you, it's not going to be a politician. I'm sorry. It's not going to be a politician. It's not going to be an organization. It's not going to be an individual. It's going to be a collective of all of us getting together to understand, man, we all got a role to play, and we need to respect each other's rights to do so. Now, if you are the type of individual who don't give a shit about the community, like, fuck you, kid, fuck your show, stick it up your ass, I respect that too. But I'm so happy and so proud for the people who do support the show and share it. Please share the show. Please share the show. Right. That's all I can ask for. And I want to tell y'all, man, be aware of people who are all about conversation and never about action. Because anytime I encounter somebody like that, I instantaneously know that their criticism of the community outweighs their contribution. And as soon as I establish that fact, I know instantaneously you are a coon. I will see y'all Monday, man.
Cool.